Hello and welcome to build up to our good game. West Ham United taking on Crystal Palace. Kick off an hour and 5 minutes away, which means the lineups are 5 minutes away. I don't know why I got this in. Don't know why I got that in. I'll need it in when Charlie joins me later on this afternoon. Gonzo's at the game today, so I'm riding solo. But next week, I get to go to the game and Gonzo's got to stay at home and do the videos. Anyway, a wet Stratford this afternoon. And we'll get the team news in just a few minutes. But how are you all doing? If you're watching this live, please do get involved in the live chat. You help the content of the video keep going, because until the lineups come out, not really too much to talk about. Actually, there is. I'm a bit nervous. I will confess, I'm nervous for this one. I'm looking at the Premier League table. I was just seeing all the results yesterday, all the goals flying in, and everybody's able to. It feels like this season, every team's capable of scoring goals. There's no real whipping team. And then you look at the table, and on one hand, we win today. We go ninth. Happy days, right? We win, we go ninth. I mean, that's all right, isn't it? But obviously, Liverpool play later, who can then go back above us and knock us back down to 10. But that'll be okay. But the problem is we've got Leicester coming up next Sunday, a difficult game. And I'm almost looking at the games as a pairing, the Palace game and the Leicester game. I'm almost looking at it as a 2, and that is we need 4 points. We need a minimum of 4 points. Even 2 points is you're unbeaten, but it's not enough. 2 points isn't enough going into the World Cup break. I do think we need 4. This is the game we're most likely to win out of the two of the games as well. So, yeah, I'm feeling a bit nervous, guys. I'm feeling a little bit nervous. Let's see what you're all saying. Jimmy says, afternoon, big game today. Scott's saying, win this and we go 9th. Red Robin thinks we'll win this by a single goal. Drawing says 2-1 West Ham. That's what me and Gonzo said in the preview. So we're thinking the same thing here. Yeah, I am optimistic. Is probably the word I would use. Maybe getting the win today. I'm a bit optimistic. I'm a bit nervous about the possible right back, but we'll speak a little bit about that as well. Mikey says 2 defensive and no balls. We'll see when the lineups officially come out in 3 minutes. We'll have a little look. Scott thinks we'll win it. If Skamaka gets the service, he'll score a couple of goals. Pontefract says that Paqueta has been great and could become one of our best players. I do think he's been poor for us so far. I mean, he hasn't hit the heights, has he? But it's been a bit stop-start for Paqueta. Arrived late, got into the team, a couple of difficult games. Away to Chelsea is never going to be the easiest game for him. Picked up an injury at an unfortunate time. So we've not really... It's mad, really. We're in November and we've not really seen Paqueta yet. We've certainly not seen our best 11 on paper. We're not going to see that until after the World Cup, unless Aguero starts today, which he doesn't. So we're not going to see our main 11. Alex says that Skamaka isn't happy here, and that's obvious by his body language. Jasper says 6 points easy. Most full week on the training ground for the tactical genius. I'm not convinced we're going to get 6. We've also got Blackburn on Wednesday night, so okay, we don't have European football this week, but we do have the Blackburn game in the middle of the week as well. Smeet says we need some more aggression from Moyes' tactics. It's all we need. John says we're due a good win. That is by 3 goals. While Taz is saying this season seems like many of old. We're struggling again, and it's just not a happy time to be a Hammer. I hate feeling like this, and only at the end, if we win, does it go away for a little while. I'm feeling okay, actually, Taz. The European group stage has been a welcome distraction this season. I think you could also argue that's impacted on the Premier League. I think that's a fair claim to make. But the European games have been a welcome distraction. It's injected positivity in between Premier League games that perhaps aren't so good. But certainly now, no European football until March. It's time to focus on the league. Yes, we've got the League Cup. We'll deal with that in the preview. But this game, I hate labelling games up as must-wins, but it feels like a must-win because there's just going to be doom and gloom until the Leicester one. And even if you won the Leicester one, if you lost today and won Leicester, it's still not quite enough in my opinion. So a bit of pressure on Moyes and West Ham today. Michael said he feels like he's been negative here. It's strange. It's a team I wanted to see, but so predictable. No surprises to get Vieira guessing. Right, well, we'll take a look at that team in just a little minute. Garth is saying Palace attack early on. It's the best chance of scoring against us as we start so fragile in defence. Right then, well, waiting for the club to tweet out that we've got the lineups out. Here we go. This is the West Ham starting 11 for today. In goal is Lucas Fabianski. Right back, we've got Tilo Kehrer with Craig Dawson, Kurt Zuma in the middle, and Aaron Creswell left back. Souček partners Declan Rice with Lucas Paqueta in the number 10 role. Saeed Benrahma on the left, Jai Byrne on the right, and Gianluca Scamacca up front. The most predictable. Michael's right. It was predictable. And most of those players I'm really, really happy with. You know, it's the one player I've got reservations with is Tilo Kehrer right back, assuming Wilfried Zaha is starting on the left of Palace. We'll get their lineup in a few minutes' time. That's the one position that makes me a little bit nervous, Kehrer up against Kurt Zuma. Because like I said, sometimes I think Kehrer is excellent, but a minute later he's giving me a heart attack. You know, offensively, our best right back. Defensively, a bit. I would suggest that Soufal and Johnson are perhaps a bit stronger than him in that sort of defensive side of things. But that front four, look at it. Bowen, Paqueta, Benrahma, Scamacca, on form. When those four are on form, that is an unbelievable, talented attack that we have today. I'm excited. I am excited to see this front four play. You don't. The good thing about this attack, you don't even need all four to be on form in order to yield enough quality to win the game. Arguably, Bowen could have a quiet game. You know he's still going to do defensive work. Paqueta can have a really good game. Benrahma can have a decent game. Scamacca can have a really good game. Only two of those need to perform, 9 out of 10 levels, and you're going to get goals out of them. I think it's a brilliant front four. Midfield pairing. Personally, I would have chosen Flynn Downs. I would have liked to have seen Downs ahead of Souček, but it was never going to happen under David Moyes. So, do you know that old expect nothing, you can't be disappointed? Well, expect Thomas Souček. You get given Thomas Souček, you can't be disappointed, right? So, listen, I think it's a good starting 11. It's a good starting 11. I think Moyes will be happy with it. It's the team that Moyes has obviously chosen. It's a good team. Well, we'll take a look at the bench because there's some positive news on the West Ham bench this afternoon. The bench for the Hammers. We've got Areola. He's the only substitute. That's one positive. One goalkeeper, I should say. Not the only he's the only goalkeeper on the bench. We've also got Soufal and Aguerd. Aguerd is on the bench for West Ham this afternoon, as is Ogbonna. We've also got Lanzini, Downs, Fornals, Emerson, and Antonio. Now, that's a strong bench. That is a really strong bench. Right backs covered, left backs covered, centre backs covered, centre midfield covered, attacking midfield covered, right wing. I mean, Antonio Fornals or Lanzini could do a job there. Same with on the left wing. Emerson can play there. Up front, Antonio. Every starting position in that 11 is covered on the bench as well. I think that's a real strong bench from us. And it's one of them, no matter what the situation is on the pitch, we're protecting a 1-goal lead, no problem. Bring Flynn Downs on, pack out the midfield. Want to go to 3 at back? No problem. Got centre back from there. We need a goal. That's fine. Fornals has scored 2 on Thursday night. Hopefully he's got his confidence up. We've got Michael Antonio on the bench. There's answers for every single problem that we may encounter during the game. That's a real strong bench for David Moyes this afternoon. He's got to be happy with that. Maxwell Kearney, obviously absent, which is expected, although disappointing. It's still expected. So there you go. That's your West Ham team. Now let me switch over and find the old Crystal Palace lineup, shall we? And then we'll have a little chat between us in the live chat. Charlie will be along at some point, and I'm looking forward to chatting to him. We'll get a little bet on the go. But the Crystal Palace team this afternoon is Guetta is in goal with a back four of Klein at right back. We've got Anderson and Gay in centre backs with Mitchell on the left. A midfield 2 or 3 of Schlupp, Decore, and Eze. We've also got Elise, Ayew, and Zaha. So Zaha will be striker for Palace today, which is, I assume it's Zaha. You could argue Ayew will be the striker and Zaha to the left. I've got a feeling it'll be Zaha down the middle, though, which would, well, make me feel a little bit better. He won't be up against Kehrer then, but he could still be on the left and then Ayew on in the middle, but I don't think it will be. I think we'll see probably. I think we'll see Ayew on the right, Zaha in the middle, Eze on the left, and Elise sort of in that 10, dropping back, becoming an 8 essentially, with Schlupp and Decore in midfield there. So that's the Crystal Palace 11. I'll be honest with you, a bit of a boost actually. I think Zaha not playing on the left is a bit of a boost. My like I said, my biggest worry coming into this was Zaha against Tilo Kehrer. Thanks, Patrick. I'm happy with that one. The bench for Palace this afternoon, on there they've got Sam Johnson. They've also got Whitworth, Ward, Tompkins. Tompkins is on the bench. Ridewald, Milivojevic, Hughes, Obiwell and Mateta. So no Edouard at all. There was some talk he went off injured last week. Some Palace fans said it wasn't an injury. Patrick Vieira just wanted to change things up a bit, but he's not in the squad whatsoever. So there's your Palace team. There's your Palace bench as well. Right, let's have a little chat. Let's have a little chat with you. What you're all saying in the live chat, get it in. We'll have a little chit chat for 5 minutes, and then we'll put a little bet together and get rocking and rolling. Let me just double check. Yeah. Oh, good. Right. Let's see what you're saying. Let me know what you're saying in the live chat. Gonzo's not on a date. Unfortunately for Gonzo, he's at the game today. Gonzo's gone to the game, so I can't. And then next Saturday, we play Leicester. I'm away to the games. The Gonzo can't go, so he's got to stay home and do the videos. So we've had one turn each. Dylan, what do we think of Eze against Ben Rama at this point? I'm starting to think it's favouring Ben Rama. Will be a good test. Yeah, I would suggest that Ben Rama is perhaps the most successful of the two transfers thus far. However, I think that's only because of injuries to Eze. I do think I would expect in 5 years' time we'll look back and I think Eze will have had the better or the bigger impression on the Premier League. But at the minute, I think Ben Rama is probably in the lead. But like I said, due to injury more than anything tonight. Callum's demanding we go large for the bet tonight. We'll see what we can do. JCP would have liked Flynn Downs in for Souček. Otherwise, he's quite happy. Brad says that Scars on the left played insane. His costume was elite and doesn't even make the bench. What happened to Moyes giving the youngsters a chance? I can't agree with this, Brad. I think who do you leave out? Who do you drop from the bench to put Scars on it? There's no way he's dropping any of those players. Moyes will not drop. Wait, hang on a minute. Where's Ben Johnson? It just occurred to me. We don't have Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's not on the bench, is he? No, I don't think he is. I don't know. Someone will confirm Ben Johnson's on the bench. He's missing. So, arguably, Ben Johnson's left out the squad as well because he looked fine on Thursday night, unless he's got a small knock that we're unaware of. So, I knew Scars wasn't going to be on. I do, however, hope that maybe Thursday, Moyes might rotate a little bit and one or two youngsters might get a chance on the bench, but I'd be surprised. Darren also would like to see Downs as extra deck compromise. Apart from that, I'm happy with the team selection. And let's see what you're saying. Mark thinks their bench looks pretty pony. It's not the best bench, is it? I do think we've got the stronger of the two. I think if it's, tied going into our mark, I'd fancy our chances at doing something in the way of substitutes to go on and win the game, whereas not so much theirs. Jeff says the player in best form this season so far is Downs. Mike says, fully agree, Downs over Souček. Moyes keeps picking Souček, and this will continue to make us weaker in midfield, in my opinion. We need a player to support Declan, which isn't Souček. Nicola says, good team, other than Souček. Downs should have started. I was going to be doing Kerr, Paul, but not now that Zaha's been moved. In our game, nothing stands out yet. I don't know the odds. I don't know what the other teams are as well. If you stick around, when Charlie comes on, I'll disappear for 2 minutes, have a little look, and come back and give you a treble. I'll give you a treble. Rusty, can you shut up about mayo, please? No, I don't like mayo in my burgers. Okay, there you go. I don't like mayo. James really likes Eze. Ball striking ability is far ahead of Said Ben Rama. Red Robin says he loves Scars, but too big a game to bench a 16-year-old with one name against Romanian sides to his name. Mancunian Hammer says that their side looks quite decent offensively. I too am extremely worried about the German lad at right back. It's hard to be confident given our performances this season, hoping we get something. Michael said you can't have him all on the bench. Cornet was fit. You'd have to lose another one off there. Dylan says being fit is a big part of our players' impression on the league throughout their career. Doesn't matter how good they are, it's easy for players to just be remembered for being injured all the time. Lee says he would have liked Antonio in ahead of Jan de Bruyne. The latter hasn't been at his best lately. I mean, it's difficult to disagree with that. He hasn't been great, has he? And Jasper says Johnson was in the video arriving at the stadium. So there you go. I mean, it's possible that he's just not in this squad. It's possible that there's no room for him, is there? You know what I mean? Who does he drop on the bench? I would argue that Warner could have made way and Ben Johnson goes in there, but that's a difficult decision for him to make because Sufal covers right back, Emerson covers left back. Do we need Ben Johnson? Moyes has obviously decided we don't. Brad says Scars, Ashby, Conche are honestly better than quite a few of our experienced players. Souček and Sufal don't deserve to be that close to the first team. Johnny would like to see Moyes putting out his strongest team as opposed to coming off the bench. I think he's done that. Or unless you mean the League Cup, I'm not sure. I think he's done that today, though. Taz says, we've now got the players. We have the players. Now they have to go out and perform. This is down to them now, and nothing Moyes can do but leave it to them. The boys should be able to win this. Scott says, got the 4th best defence in the league, but only the 14th best attack, or the 6th worst attack in the league. Depends how you want to look at it. Paul said it is a must-win game. Leicester looked pretty good away to Everton. Maddison had 8 shots on target. 8 shots. It wasn't on target. He had 8 shots. The reason I know that 100%, A, 8 shots on target is ridiculously high, and B, I needed him to have 2 shots on target, and he did not. He had 8 shots. Didn't even have 2 on target. Anyway, the poll is now live. If you're watching this, please get involved. And in regards to your happiness regarding the West Ham starting 11, so get involved. Let's see what you're all saying when Charlie pops on. He'll bring the results of the poll with him. It'd be nice to see what you're thinking. A bit of a new feature. Someone once requested it, and don't say we don't listen. We do. Stazzy, is Cornet going to turn out to be a waste of money? I don't think so. I think he's going to be unreliable. He was like this at Burnley. He doesn't play if he's not 100%. If Cornet is not 100%, he won't play. It's just something he's always done. But I do think he will have his moments and his big moments too at West Ham. I do think he'll be a good signing for us. Unfortunately, you just can't rely on him. But I think he's going to have... Yeah, I think he'll make a lasting impression. If we can keep him fit, that's the problem, isn't it? But if we can keep him fit, I think he'll do well. Jake would love to see Downs as well. But let's not underappreciate Souček's defensive stats recently. May allow Rice to play more on the ball. Thank you very much, Callum, for the $7.99 Aussie dollars. Callum says, tell Gonzo buy himself half a pint at the game. Yes. He did also say thank you to Harry for the super chat on Thursday to get a pint for his friend when they were out. Dave says you can't remember West Ham having such strength and depth at centre back. Aguerd and Obon are good enough to start in most Prem teams. I would suggest that Kedder as well. I see Kedder probably as a centre back long term. So yeah, I'll put him in there as well. Dylan says I don't like people saying they want Antonio on the wing. He's 32, excellent backup striker. Otherwise, we only have Scamacca as a striker, and we're back to square one with only one striker. Lewis says, I never thought we'd see Paqueta and Benrahma on the bench. No, neither did I, actually. He's fascinated to know why Moyes has decided to go for it in this one. I think he's kind of got to. He can't drop Benrahma. Benrahma's in too good form. He can't drop him. He can't not play Paqueta. He has to make Paqueta work. Moyes is under pressure to make Scamacca, Paqueta, and Aguerd work. I think the rest of them, he'll get away. If Emerson's not a success at West Ham, he'll get away with that, Moyes will. It won't sort of... Moyes said himself, managers sort of live or die by their signings. Emerson ain't going to be a deciding factor. Flynn Downs isn't going to be a deciding factor. You're not going to judge Moyes' transfer window on those two players. If they do well, great. If they don't work out, it's one of them. You'll take it on the chin. You'll sell them at maybe the same price, a few million loss. But the bigger ones, Scamacca, Aguerd, and Paqueta, he has to make it work, especially considering, last summer we only spent money on Vlasic and Zuma. Now, Zuma's worked out, but Vlasic has been a disaster. So it's sort of jury's out a little bit. So Moyes has got to make those work. Are we confident? I am optimistic. And do you know something? I'm feeling relatively confident. I am. I don't think we'll get beat. Well, actually, let's do it. Let's do the bet. What are we all wanting? Let's load up the old Bet365. Where are we? Where's West Ham? Let's get rid of all these bloody other teams. Get out of the way. Here we go. West Ham Palace. That's the one we're after. We're at the end. Had to scroll past all the Premier League games. I'm putting, what are we fancying for the bet? Come on then. What are we fancying? I've got one or two things I wouldn't mind putting in. Do you know something? I'm just going to do it. I don't have Gonzo here chirping away at me, do I? So let's do this. Let me just fire in a couple of things. And then if it lands, well, I'll see what the odds are first, won't I? Can't do Paqueta shot on target. Well, that's annoying, isn't it? We'll do that. Yeah, let's do this. Right, okay. Don't worry. I know you're all thinking, well, at least speak to us. We don't know what's happening here. I've got a lot more money in my account. I must have just won a bet while I've been live on the old. When I've been doing this, I think I've just won a bet. We'll see what it is. It was 33-1. It's now 28-1. I didn't even get the bet on. Right, here's the bet. I've just gone straight in. I've gone straight in for this one, but I might make a second bet, which is a community one, and get Charlie involved. Charlie has never, to my knowledge, Charlie has never placed a bet in his entire life, which is good. Don't start it. So we might get him to do his first ever one with you lot in the live chat and see if we can win a bit of money. But anyway, £145. Let's make it 150. £150 cash to somebody if this bet wins. Check Decore to be booked for Crystal Palace. Bowen and Zaha to have a shot on target. Scamacca to score a goal, and West Ham to score at least 2 goals in the game. £150 cash. And if you've already commented, you already entered. There's no phrase. When Charlie comes along, we'll do a little bit of a phrase and give away. But there's the bet. Decore booked. Bowen and Zaha shot on target. West Ham to score at least 2, and Scamacca any time. And Paqueta has been booked in the Chelsea Arsenal game. That's the bet that I just won. Thank you, Paqueta. I made a bit of money watching the doing this. I got paid by Bet365. No phrase. The reason being is because I need you lot to keep commenting about the teams and stuff for content. And if you all start putting a phrase in, you're going to spam it, and then I'm not going to be able to interact with you. So just keep giving your thoughts on the West Ham team, the Palace team, your thoughts on the game. Just keep those comments coming in, and you've entered into the potential bet giveaway. Scott says, I think Scamacca has been pissed off because he never seems to get a call while he is fouled constantly. Liverpool game is a horrendous example of how some teams get favoritism. See, the thing is, they did try and sort of emphasize that this season they were going to allow the league to be a little bit more physical. They were going to let play go a little bit more. And in some games I watch it, they do it. You know, Jesus' Arsenal's a perfect example. Southampton didn't get anything. He got nothing at the St. Mary's a couple of weeks ago. Vicano was throwing him around the pitch, and he still got absolutely nothing from the referee. I can't complain. I quite like the fact that they're allowing defenders to get a bit physical with attackers. And you know, something Dawson does it. How often do you see Dawson grappling a striker and stuff, and the referee just plays on? I quite like the fact that they are. I know your comments more about sort of consistency of referees, but I don't think they've been too bad in that regards. There's other things they're doing crap, but in terms of allowing the game to flow, I think they've been quite better this season. Pricham says, quick appreciation for these videos and live chats. He loves them. Thank you for doing these. You're brilliant at what we do. Well, thank you, Pricham. We do our best, and I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy doing them, because I do. I'm not going to lie. There's 1 or 2 games or days where you're like, oh, can't be bothered. You're feeling a bit under the weather. You're a bit tired, just for whatever reason. You don't want to do it, and that's okay, because everyone watching this will know exactly what I mean. There'll be times when you've got work and you're like, oh, I don't want to go today. That's allowed, but you just gotta. I always say to Mrs. Gio, I gotta put my makeup on and perform for the circus like a clown. So that's what I'm doing. Matt would like to see Antonio supporting Scamacca. And Adam says, I wonder if we'll ever see Moyes use Rice, Fornals, Paqueta in the midfield. I feel like that could work well against Leicester. I agree. I mean, that's the 3 I would like. Saying that was before I saw Downs. Now I see more of Downs. I'm trying to think. Certainly, if we were at home to Nottingham Forest, or we're at home to, I know they're not in the league anymore, but last season's Burnley, not this year's Burnley, different. Sean Dyche's teams, that's the type of midfield that you could play, or you probably should play as well. Adrian says he's feeling more confident about the result now the teams are out. Think the front four are going to click today. I won't forget the colour treble, Paul. I won't. Once Charlie's here, I'll have a chat with Charlie for a little bit, and then I'll sit and look at what all the lineups are for all the other games. I'll put together a little treble. All right, I'll put something together. I promise you. Matthew says, I think this is a big game for Scamacca to impress. He seemed off his game recently and has been overly protected by our fans. If Antonio put out those stinkers, then everybody would label him crazy. I can only speak for myself, Matthew. I think a few fans have been critical of Scamacca in the comments of the reviews and stuff like that. I think they do allow mitigation for that, though, which is he's had no service. And I'm quite protective of Antonio. I think I've been quite protective of Antonio as a striker and probably more critical of the manager. When Antonio has a poor game, I'm usually more critical of the tactics around Antonio than him himself. Although saying that, there is some games where Antonio has played poorly. In the last 3 games, Scamacca's statistics have decreased dramatically. In all those 3 games, Paqueta wasn't in the side. Today, let's put it this way, Matthew. Today's team is perfect for Scamacca. He's got Benrahma, Paqueta, Bowen. He's got Creswell from left back, Kerr on the right, who, listen, defensively suspicious. Going forward, he's our best right back currently. He's going to have service today, or he should have service today. I expect a big performance from him today. And I feel quite confident that you're going to get it, Matthew. I feel confident. And if you do, I think what that does is suggests that the last 3 games, which is, Man United, Liverpool and Bournemouth, that he has just struggled without Paqueta and the team. And then going forward, we've got to sort that. We can't have... I think any striker would struggle with Flynn Downs as the main man behind him. And that's, like I said, not a reflection on Flynn Downs. Well, it is. It's Flynn Downs' lack of creativity. But he shouldn't have been playing there. But if you are going to put him there for his defensive work, which is what Moyes has done, you're going to have to accept you lose something, and that is the service to Scamacca. Anyway, sorry for a long answer, but there you go. John says, I do think Souček's a liability in a game like this. We need to be solid and dominant in midfield. He's not quick enough for either of them today. Downs should be in. Do you know something, right? Moyes is starting. There's nothing... I appreciate what you're saying, John. I do agree with you, right? But what's done is done now. However, today we need to see Moyes make the right substitutions. He has to make the right calls, and that is if Souček's playing poorly at half time on the hour mark, get him off. I understand why he would be reluctant. Say Creswell was playing average at best. I'd understand the reluctance to take Creswell off for Emerson, because Moyes perhaps doesn't trust Emerson at this point. Last season, Souček continued to play for the whole game because the alternatives were Alex Kral, and we knew Moyes was never going to put him on, or Mark Noble, who was generally off the pace of the Premier League. There was excuses for not taking Souček off last season. This season is done. He's got Flynn Downs sat there who deserve to start. He's got Finals who probably can play that role in good form. And he's also got Lanzini in good form that can play in there as well. So if Souček does play poorly, sub him off. Sub him off. That's my biggest frustration with Moyes and Souček. It's not necessarily starting him. I get it. I get why Moyes is starting him. It's just leaving him on for 90 minutes when he's not performing well and he's actually becoming a bit of a hindrance. If we are winning, I get it. I get why he's going to leave him on. But if we need a goal... Your bench is there. You've got 5 subs. 5! You can put someone on and take them off again if you really had to. Anyway, okay, you lot are triggering me with all your comments here. Dylan says if they allow defenders to get physical with attackers, they have to allow Antonio to be physical back. They shouldn't be disallowing goals for the tussle. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Irish Tommy says our starting 11 is more than good enough to beat Crystal Palace if we turn up. Right, let's see what you all say. I'm just going to scroll a little bit because I'm quite far behind, and because you're all talking about the physical bit. And Ethan says, in my opinion, we'll be really defensive, but there'll be a good 10-15 minutes where we go for it, open them up to get 2-0. Yeah, it's called the 75th minute. I'm so sorry, I couldn't resist. I could not resist, right? Andrew, thank you for the £5 super chat. If you've left a comment or a sticker, usually if you put a sticker in, we can't always see it. But Andrew, thank you very much for £5 super chat. Really appreciate it. And it genuinely makes a big difference. Makes a bigger difference than people think, because we've got no sponsors this month. You'll notice this so far in November and for the rest of November at the time. I mean, I'm trying to get sponsors. We want sponsors, but we've got no sponsors at the minute. So it's yeah, a bit of a scary time, just like it is for everybody. You know, I understand why people are cutting back on their expenses. Everybody is, including myself. Even I'm looking at my outgoings thinking, why get rid of that, get rid of that. So at the minute, we've got no sponsors, and we've got 3 incomes on Hammers Chat. We've got the adverts that you watch on here, not me talking before the video, during the video, those. We've got sponsors, and we've got Patreon. We've just lost one of them. So technically, to keep it simple, we've lost a substantial amount of income this month because of the World Cup. Anyway, thank you, Andrew, and I'm going to keep doing my best. Hopefully, we'll have sponsors in the next couple of weeks, but at the minute, there's nothing even in the pipeline. Right, let's keep on rocking and rolling. Harry says Skamaka should have enough about him to try and not moan without Paqueta. Come on, Yair says, I think Skamaka relies on Paqueta. Now, Thunder said, well said, Alan G. So I'm going to have a little look and see. I see what Alan said now. I do not disagree. Alan said, I understand Skamaka's frustration of late because the service isn't for him. The lack of service for him isn't an issue we should have considered our players. That should be fixed today. Agree. Lloyd says Fernal's got Euro Player of the Week for his performance on Thursday. I didn't see that. Thank you very much. I genuinely did not see that. I do know that Fernal's and Lanzini were offered to stay in London. Moyes basically just said to them, you don't have to come and play. But Fernal's and Lanzini wanted to go to Romania and play in that game, but they were given the opportunity to have the time off and stay back home. So I like that. I like the fact that they went out there anyway. Lee says he likes Benrahma, but he's way too slow for playing on the wing. He slows the game down. I play him in the middle. On the wing, he keeps checking back on his right foot. I guess the problem there is what you're going to do with Paqueta. Chris says Skamaka's got the right to moan. He's left up front on his own. Ridiculous tactics. Sebastian Aller was the same. Thank you, JP, for £3 super chat. Says Charlie is king. Gio and Gonzo Pingle haters. Hang on a minute. Hang on. I like Pringles. It's Gonzo that doesn't like them. I like Pringles. That smoky barbecue flavor, Texas barbecue. Scott says, with Aguerd and Areola in the lineup, we move the ball forward very quickly. With Zuma and Fabianski, it moves at snail's pace. Kaiser says, Souček's given us goals in the past. Always a chance with him. I don't disagree, but the problem is he's only got 1 this season. It's not really enough. I think when he's scoring goals, you can overlook it, you can justify it, but no, not at the minute. Johnny says, Alex needs to light it up. Scars is De Bruyne. Paul says he's got an idea for Hammers Chat to make a little bit. Yes, please do email us, hammerschat@gmail.com. I'll get back to you tomorrow. I probably wouldn't get back to it today, but yes, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Anyway, keep getting your thoughts into the live chat. Let's see what you're all saying as well. Also, let me know you're confident. Actually, Bugrit, score prediction time. Let's go. Score prediction time. Get your score predictions into the live chat and any thoughts you've got in the way of optimism and or confidence ahead of this game. Let's see what you're all saying. Let's see if you fancy it. David says we become a one-man team in Paqueta. No, I wouldn't say that. I would say that Skamaka, we don't, at the minute, the alternative for Moyes is to play Flynn Downs, which isn't good enough. I think if David Moyes was to play for Niles instead of Flynn Downs, if Paqueta is out, I think we'd see a different Skamaka. All right, let's see what I was saying. Johnny's gone 3-1 West Ham. Mancunians 2-2. And Nolan says, who would you have on penalties? Benrahma. It would have to be Benrahma, wouldn't it? Lanzini's not on the pitch, so it's got to be Said. Marev's 2-1. Talis is 4-1. Tom Starr says Dawson is scoring from a corner. Leon's 2-1 West Ham. GP's 4-1. Simon's 2-0. Sai is 2-1 to West Ham. Irish Tom is 3-1 West Ham. Alison says West Ham to boot it nowhere from kickoff. Antonio take a long throw and Dawson kick a straight play. I mean, the first one's definitely happening, isn't it? And that long throws do my nutting. I'll never forget being at the Etihad last season when it was snowing and we were a goal down at this point, and Antonio got everybody in the box, called the centre-backs up. He genuinely took his gloves off, threw them down, and there was this massive build-up to the long throw, and it hit the first man, and City went on the counter-attack, and you're like, the thing is, he's not even good at long throws. That's the frustrating thing for me. Not only is it a little bit like, but he's not even good at them. If he was Rory Delap, I would understand it, but the reason I don't like him, nor do I understand it, because he's not good at them, and they've never worked. Anyway, he stopped doing it less. He went to do it against Man United, and somebody took the ball off him and told him to get in the box. I think it was Tilo Kerr, actually. I think Kerr can actually throw it quite long, too. Gary, 3-1. Stephen, 3-1. Everything, the beginning of is everything, says 2-0 West Ham. Scott's gone 4-1 with a Skamaka brace. Greg's 2-1. Jack's 3-1. Jones 3-0, 3-1 says Bag. Andy's overall satisfied with the team. However, prefers seed downs for Souček. That sadly isn't happening anytime soon. Bill's 3-0, Matthews 3-1, 2-0 says Andy, 3-2 says Pocket Punk. Oh, with a hat trick, but for whom? It's got to be Skamaka, isn't it? Craig 3-1, William 3-0, Sai is 2-2. I hope you're doing well, Sai. I hope you're recovering fine. Stevens 3-2 and Yurt says comfy 2-0. Aaron says, I understand how much Souček contributes defensively. Most of that seems to be undone by how poor he is in possession. I do wonder why Moyes doesn't seem to take that into account. I'll have a little moan about that in a second. Derek says prefers 3 downs for Souček, but otherwise happy with the lineup. Be harsh to drop Fabianski, Areola instills more confidence and there's better distribution. The thing with the Souček thing for me, right, okay, this is what I will say is Moyes we assume Moyes leaves him in what he does defensively. I think that's a fair conclusion. The problem I've got is Downs can do that defensively. Do you know that 5 tackles Souček is going to do today? Downs is capable of doing 5 tackles. That 3 interceptions, Downs is capable. 2 clearances, a block. Downs is capable of doing all that defensive side as well. It's not like we're saying, can you take out Souček, who's really important defensively, and put in Pablo Finales, please, who defensively isn't that good. In there, he wouldn't be good enough. That's not where we're at. We are literally asking for what role Souček does. The fans are asking for a like-for-like replacement. We're not asking for Souček to come out and somebody to get shoehorned in there just because we don't like Thomas Souček. It's a like-for-like swap. And for all Souček does, and he does it well, he does the defensive side well, how do we know Downs won't do it better? He might not. He might do it worse than Souček. But he could also do it better. We don't know. That's my frustration with Souček being included at the minute, because last season there was no alternatives. Fine. This season, there's a alternative. Glenn, thank you for the £5 super chat. Says, keep up the great content. Gio, Gonzo, and Charlie. Lester Gonzo, he's not here today. He's skiving. He's ready to the game. And right, let me flick through the scores. And while I do, can I just say welcome to Mr. Charlie Ross? How you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. I've not been up long, as you can probably predict through when I messaged you. But yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to the game, actually, Charlie. I'm getting a little bit excited, if I'm honest.
I am. I mean, Paqueta coming back helps a lot, I think, for me. Like, I mean, obviously I was a fanboy of his before we came to West Ham, but I think you just look at the difference in just that little bit of extra creativity and then add that on top of Bowen, Benrahma and Skamaka. I feel like there's a lot going on. Bowen, obviously flattered to deceive this season, but I understand why he continues to be in there because, you know, David Moyes. But as a creative force, that 4 feels exciting. You know, I'm excited to see sort of what they can do together, and that's kind of, if you were to say to me what's the most creative 4 up front you could do, what's the best 4 on paper you could probably do at this point, it would probably be those 4. So it's very exciting in that sense.
I've got the Paqueta annoyed me a little bit because just a purely selfish thing here. I've been bigging Skamaka up loads. Paqueta got injured and Skamaka looked crap immediately after I've been bigging him up.
Yeah, but it's the problem we've always had with strikers. It's something I don't understand why it comes up time and time again. But if they can't have someone creating for them, then what are they going to do, sort of thing? And I think Skamaka, don't get me wrong, does have some of the blame. For example, that it's something we've spoken about on Hamalytics, right? So I'll give Jack and Carol credit for this. But the idea of like selfless runs that Antonio does. And I don't know if they're entirely selfless or whether he's just running around in the hope that the ball comes to him. I don't know how much football intelligence Mikel Antonio has. But let's give him the credit and say selfless runs. I don't think Skamaka really does that. There's stuff like that he could be doing which would help out. But, it's the eternal problem of if we don't have someone creating for a striker, then what are they going to do? What's actually going to happen? And I think that's been a massive problem with him specifically because he's not someone he's not Antonio. He can't pick up the ball on the halfway line and run past the entire team and do something with it. Antonio might not do anything at the end of it, but he can at least do that bit of it,
We've got a reminder here from James. Palace West Ham is the game of a banger, isn't it? There's always a banger when we play Crystal Palace.
That's true.
I use solo goal, Andy Carroll's bicycle kick, Dimitri's free kick, Dimitri's dink at Selhurst Park as well. Lanzini loves it against the London teams. We've got... Yeah, it was a banger. We love a banger when West Ham play Crystal Palace. Right, Charlie, we're going to do a second bet. You're in charge. What are you wanting in it? And you're going to have to think of a phrase that pays because I always just don't do it because I want people to get involved. So if everybody's spamming, I've got to come up with my own content in words, and I'd rather not do that. So you're here now, so I can speak to you. Okay. But what do you fancy in the second bet giveaway?
Okay, I'm looking at the teams. I'm looking at the lineups. I mean, first of all, we'll go.
You've got limited players for shots on target. So if you want shots on target, let me know which player, and I'll tell you if you can have them or not.
Okay, while I think of that, we'll have West Ham win.
West Ham win. Yeah, let's get that in.
I'm feeling that. I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, what's the thing where they score goals a lot? Because I think there's going to be at least 3 goals in this game.
Yeah. Okay. Over 2.5 goals.
That's what it is. Yeah. Okay. You know what I'm like? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'll do the converting of the jargon for you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Pocky Punk for the 1,000 yen. Says Gio Gonza Charlie, you're doing a grand job. So here's a grand in yen.
We'll take that.
Any players to get booked, any player to have a shot on target, you can have those corners. You've got the goals, you've got the West Ham to win.
Yeah, I'm talking for out loud, right? My concern, I know, me, I don't know how, you were saying, for example, Zaha might be up front as opposed to on the left, for example. My concern about Kera I'm getting absolutely roasted a little bit because he goes so far forward. I can see a professional foul happening in my head. That's a yellow card. I'm sort of thinking maybe a Kera yellow card. Equally, I'm not certain. I'm looking at their team. I'm thinking...
While you're thinking, I'll answer a couple of comments.
Yeah.
Matteo, it's not on TV, unfortunately. It's not being broadcast in the UK, so we're going to be listening to the radio here at Hammers Chat and imagining what happens. But Charlie might be able to tell you which radio station is on in a little bit of where you can find people that know where it's on. Nick, obviously, you can't score 2.5 goals. It's over 2.5 goals, so it's 3 goals in the game. Because if it was over 3, it just works. Over 2.5 goals means 3 goals or more in the match, right? So that's why he's done his 0.5.
I reckon. I think we'll go with a yellow card and a shot on target. We're going to say Skamaka shot on target because I think that's about as safe as you're going to get. It's going to happen. It might be from 40 yards and straight into the goalkeeper's hand, but it will be on target. And then I'm going to say a yellow card. How do you feel about a Nathaniel Klein yellow card?
Yeah, I'm okay with whatever you want, Charlie. Let's put him in.
And then Nathaniel Klein yellow card.
Yeah, I'll do. That's your bet. That's good odds. So it's £130 if the bet wins.
Okay.
And the bet is West Ham to win the game. Over 2.5 goals in the match. So 3 goals or more in the match. Skamaka to have a shot on target. Klein to get booked. £130 cash. To enter Charlie's giveaway, please put the following phrase in the live chat.
The phrase is... I didn't think about this bit. The phrase is... screw it, just Paqueta is nice. I can't think of anything smart. I'm just happy to see him. Paqueta is nice. That's all we need.
Paqueta is nice.
Yeah, I can't come up with something smart and funny.
What a kind phrase for today.
I've been up for 20 minutes or whatever it is. I've not got the brain. I've not even had anything to eat, drink. Paqueta is nice. I'm just happy to see him.
There you go. Paqueta is nice. Get into live chat, Juventus. Anyway, how are you feeling, Charlie? You've seen the teams. I'm feeling it. I think I was saying at the very start, I don't know how much you were catching and stuff, but I basically said that front four we've got tonight, we don't need all four of them to be 9 out of 10. As long as two of them are on top form, that's enough. As long as the other two do okay, that's enough. It's very rare all four of those players are going to be like at the top of their game for 90 minutes and stuff like that. It's unlikely. Even world-class players struggle to do well. They do it more often than not. That's why they're world-class. To me, that's what defines how good a player is. A, the ability, but B, also the consistency as well.
Yeah.
And all you need is, out of that four, two of them to play really, really well. Ideally, one of them being Skamaka, because he's the goal scorer out of them. But then that should be enough to get a couple of goals this match. And defensively, we are pretty solid. Somebody said at the start, we've got the fourth best defense in the league. That's when you consider how miserable it's been recently. We're doing all right, aren't we? What are you giggling at? What have you just seen?
No. I'm just agreeing with you. I think we have been miserable. We've probably been miserable because we're good defensively. I'm up for it. I think I really like Patrick Vieira as a manager. I really do. Initially, I can't lie, it was just the excitement of seeing Patrick Vieira in the dugout. Do you know what I mean? Because whenever you see players from my childhood as manager, I just find that very exciting. And so seeing Patrick Vieira, who used to stroll around Highbury with that, do you remember he used to have that weird patch thing that was on his chest here?
It was a Vaseline, vapor rub.
I never knew what it was. I just knew it
it's for breathing.
Oh, well, there you go. So he used to always have that. And I just remember seeing him in the dugout originally when he was in America, and then he came over to Nice and stuff was always very exciting. So him getting a chance in the Premier League, I was like, yeah, let's go. More of that. I want more of that. But I think he's turned out to actually be just quite a good manager. He seems to really know what he's doing. And I like Crystal Palace a lot. They're good on the counter-attack. And I like their players. I like Eze, I like Elise, Zaha's very good. There's a lot of things to like about them. And so going up against them, I think is quite exciting because I think you've got two teams who have the ability to do something. It's not, you often see teams who are good on the counter-attack and think it's going to be a pretty sort of sad affair, whereas this is one of the ones where it's two teams who are good at counter-attack, and I think actually something good could come from it. It's exciting to see. So I think it's going to be a good game, and I've got a lot of confidence. The front four of us is giving me a lot of confidence, and the defense is strong. And also, I'm at the beginning when I'm typing up the teams and stuff, I hear sentences you say, but I can't take it in because I'm concentrating on typing words and spelling and all that sort of nonsense. Just seeing Aguerd on the bench is really exciting for me as well. If he can get, I don't think he will get onto the pitch, but just being that little bit step closer, because I've really enjoyed him. I don't know, there's a lot to like today. There's a lot to like and be excited for.
Say thank you to Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it, my friend, for the super sticker. No clue what it looks like because of the software, but hey, I'm assuming it's something fun.
Stevie says, not sure on Moyes is so reluctant to let Downs play the middle with advice. Souček stays undroppable oddly. Still, should be enough to win with our front line. Creswell will probably get targeted. I'll be honest with you, Charlie. I'm actually when that Palace team came out, I was relieved that Zaha's, would you agree, Zaha's up front, and then
probably, yeah.
Ayew on the right, and then
4-3-3
Eze on the left, and Elise dropping in. I think I was relieved to see that because I was genuinely worried about Zaha up against Thilo Kehrer. And, obviously, if we do start winning, there's probably a good chance that Mateta comes on and Zaha gets moved out to the left end. We'll worry about it then, but we'll be winning by that point, so all is good. But I'm actually quite pleased, actually. I think they maybe made a mistake putting Zaha up against Zouma and Dawson. I think they'll be okay with him, actually. It's quite a congested area for Zaha, and he's a bloody good player. I do think he's better when he's got a one-on-one opponent. Thank you, Dylan, for the $5 Aussie. Says, thank you for the show, fellas. Come on, you Irons.
Thank you, Dylan. Sorry, I was muted because I was typing them in the top corner. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate it.
Don't know, Andy. Don't know why we're not on telly at 2 o'clock on Sundays. Last week, we were only on a half because it was Man U. Sure, a game better than Southampton versus Newcastle. Don't know. I guess we're only on Sunday because of the European football, but this is where Southampton Newcastle could have been on Saturday. They didn't have to move that game to the Sunday. They could have had it on yesterday. There was no 12:30 game yesterday. I don't know why. I assume it's because of the FA Cup or something. I don't know why there wasn't a 12:30 game yesterday. Will there be a dark side of the Irons t-shirt? What the Irons? Oh, the Oasis one. We've got the white ones. We've got quite a lot of the white. I'm literally looking at them. We've got quite a lot of the white ones, and the blue ones we're out of stock in a couple of sizes. However, they're arriving in a couple of weeks. Lou is asking if you're a fan of HITC Stevens.
Sevens. Yeah, I mean, the YouTube channel. Yeah, I mean, both the HITC channels do really well. To be fair, they're football channels. They do like they do slightly different content, but it's mostly like they'll do like list videos, but then they'll also do like what's going on at certain clubs. I don't know. They're pretty good for what they do. To be fair, I think they're both pretty good channels.
I've never heard of it, but I'm not big. Charlie's the YouTubey person out of the two of us. Charlie's the YouTubey one. My YouTube culture is quite limited. I don't watch too much. I watch a few things.
You've gotten better over the years.
I have tried to dip my toe into it a little bit, but my attention span is so poor. I just get fed up. But I do like what's the South African guy called? Josh and Archie. Is that it?
Oh yeah.
I really like them.
Did I tell you I saw him on the street?
Geezer brought out a song and got into the top 40 of the UK charts. Like paying people.
They do.
Mate, I loved it.
Josh, what is his surname? Why is it blanked? It's Archie Manners, I think, but I can't remember his surname for the life of me. Josh something. Can't remember the South African guy. Do you remember I saw him on the street? He's mad tall.
Yeah,
he's very bloody tall.
Yeah, that's who I like. That's who I liked. I like the I liked it. Dylan, yeah, we mentioned this last week. Charlie's already watched it, and I'm nearly at the end, Charlie. I'm nearly at the end, and me and Charlie are big Tifo football fans, so we do like Tifo football. That's one channel I do like. They sort of inspired us a bit, didn't they? A couple of 2 or 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, we definitely didn't steal that idea. It's fine.
I didn't say steal it. They inspired us.
No, you can say what you want.
It's different.
You can be dishonest if you want. I mean, it's inspired. It is different. It is different, to be fair. But yes, Peters. Yes, Josh Peters. Thank you very much. Tifos were great. Tifo and Tifo IRL I really like the Tifo IRL stuff. Like, I really like Tifo in general, but I love like the breakdowns they do of IRL with the. I mean, we've sort of done. We've done it cheap with like the whiteboard and the magnets, but they've got the big touchscreen board with that, Sky Sports have and everything. I really like them.
It's on your screen now, my friend. There you go. There's the West Ham bench on your screen for you, Tony. Why announce a starting 11 by position? Isn't that giving info to the opposition? I don't think it makes a difference. I think most teams can work it out regardless of what numbers, what order you put teams up in. Thank you, Matt, for the $5. He says, keep up the good work, lads. We do our best. Before I go, I've got a couple of admin things to do. There's no sponsors. Don't worry. Not got any of them this month. First of all, make sure you drop a like on the video by clicking thumbs up and subscribe if you're new to Hammers Chat. Charlie does really good work. I often now and again check in just to see how just to see what Charlie's saying in the live stream, and he's always doing good views. You're doing good views, Charlie. You're doing quite well these days. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, on Thursday, 8:30 in the morning, we are launching. Thursday's day one of our 12 days of Christmas offers. We've got 12 offers, a new one every single day. That's only valid for 24 hours. It's an offer for our online store. And there's some real big offers in there, isn't there, Charlie? There's a couple of big ones in there, and then
stuff I would highly recommend keeping an eye out of. If you've ever looked at anything we sell and gone, oh, maybe, I would highly recommend you keep an eye out.
You wait. Paul of Manscaped had to trim costs.
Solid joke.
It's good. Good work, 9 out of 10 at least. Good that one.
Good work. No, all of their money went into getting rid of my beard. They can't afford anything else anymore. It took a lot.
Charlie's, not you, this Charlie, says that he thinks Vieira's watching Hammers Chat and Children. I don't think he's talking about us, to be fair, by the way. I don't think Eddie was talking about our one. I think he was talking about the clubs. When the club put up their graphic, it's in positional order. But what I will say is, Eddie, that the lineups actually come out an hour and a half before the game, but they just don't get released to Joe public until an hour before the game. So for half an hour, I think it's an hour and a half, it might be an hour and 15 minutes, but for 15 minutes at least, the captains have the lineup. So for 15 minutes before we know what the lineups are, Patrick Vieira already knows what the West Ham team is. And then when they go out for their warm-ups and stuff, that's why Jurgen Klopp stands there on the halfway line watching the other teams do their warm-up to try and get a little bit of an insight as to who's playing where and if they've got groups of 3, who's in the groups, so on and so forth. But anyway, right, well, we disappear. We disappear. Right. You're not going anywhere, mate. You're staying here till full time.
I can go if you want. I don't mind. I'll just go sit on
no,
the
you're
sofa
here
and
till
relax
full
for a while.
time.
That's fine with me. Good luck. Enjoy the game, everyone. See you later. Bye.
I'll be back at halftime to join you.
Okay,
so I'm off to watch the game, and I'll be back at halftime to catch up with you, Charlie.
Thank you very much, Gio. Enjoy the game. And if you're looking for more smart insight as opposed to my usual nonsense, then make sure to come back at halftime because Gio will be here and, of course, full time with the live match review. But until then, I will be live, of course, the entire first half, halftime, second half, all of that nonsense. We'll be here talking through West Ham versus Crystal Palace. And we'll go through the teams again once more, just in case you're joining us late. But before I do that, hello, everyone. How are you? I hope you're well. I hope you're having a good day. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday. I shall make an announcement now. There are Baby Bells. Baby Bells are back. They are back. I got some yesterday. I went to the shops and I searched. Okay, I went at like way too late. It was like 10:55 when it shuts at 11. The security guard was looking at me to get out of the shop, but I found them. And that is the important thing. And while we go through the teams, I'll ask you now if you are confident of the game. 1 being the least confident possible, 10 being the most confident possible. Get that in the chat. Let's see how confident you are all feeling. However, while we do that, let's have a look at the lineup, shall we? I moved that across to there, which has confused the living daylights out of me, but that is fine. Press the button, hope it works. It does. Look at that. It's almost like I'm a professional. Fabianski starts in goal for West Ham with Kehrer, Dawson, Zuma and Cresswell in defence. Souček and Rice starting a double pivot with Paqueta coming back to partner Ben Rama and Bowen. And just behind, big Gianluca Scamacca. The bench being Areola, Sufal, Aguerd, Ogbonna, Lanzini, Downs, Antonio, Fornals and Emerson. That's the West Ham lineup. Crystal Palace lineup as such. Theirs isn't a JPEG. If you click it, right, it just takes you to their website. Not useful to me. So we're just going to have to look at it in this very awkward way. I could zoom in a bit, I guess. Let's zoom in a bit. Let's get real in tight now. And you can tell what I watch because we've got a wrestling trend and Wrexham again. Gay starts in goal with Klein, Gay, Anderson and Mitchell in defence. Jeffrey Schlupp and Decore partner each other in midfield with probably Erieze, however you want to say his name. With Elise, Ayew and Zaha in a sort of front three type thing. It might be Elise, could be Eze to be fair on the left-hand side as opposed to Elise, with probably Ayew down the middle. Sorry, with probably Zaha down the middle and Ayew on the right. Their bench, Johnston, Whitworth, Ward, Tompkins, Riderworld, Milivojevic, Hughes, Ebiowai, who I don't know, and Mateta. No Edouard, which is nice for us to some extent. Although I don't know how well he's doing this season. I haven't really been keeping up with him. But you know, I'm chat store, by the way, if you want this mug. That's the words you're getting from me today. That's the words you're getting from me, you know. Anyway, let's have a look at some of these confidence levels. Those are the two teams. I'll have them running across the bottom of the screen once more. Let's have a look. We have... You can see Willie plays, by the way. And Babel's back. Babel's back on the menu. It's very free. Do you know what it is? It's because my headphones push it back. So if I mean, I could just make it look insane completely, right? But if I have it normally, it's sort of all over the shop, right? But the second it gets pushed back, these just get flipped out. Not that it's good in the world, but yeah. I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch it. I was out. We'll get back to this. I was out, but I have watched some bits and pieces, and I enjoyed what I saw. But yeah. Right, let's scroll down and see the numbers. So, we have 7.5, 9, 7, 10. Yes, John, come on. 8, 6, 7, 6.5. 3 out of 4. 3 or 4. A bit nervy, to be honest. It says David, fair. 8.555. Interesting. Scrolling. Matt, that's a question for Gio. I let him deal with all that side of it. You know, money is his thing. I just do what I'm told. 9, 8, 8, usually calm. 6, I'm 50-50. Feel like who scores will win. Yeah, whoever scores first is probably going to have a good chance in this one. Like I said, I'm expecting goals, but at the same time, fully understandable. 10, it does happen, doesn't it? It does happen the second that happens. Yeah, I just replace it with Baby Bells. Dan is coming through with a slightly nervy 69. Nice. Gonzo equally wants to get one up on Palace, given his best mate's a Palace fan. You won't see much difference around these parts, to be fair. You won't see much difference around these parts. Seeing more people. Listen, I'm sorry, I'm just seeing beard comments. 6 will go up once Skamaka gets one in. Respect it. 7.89999999999989 from Dave. Very precise, and I love to see it. Lots of confidence, which is enjoyable. I'm pretty confident as well. If you were going to say 11.6, you love to see it. If I was going to put my number somewhere, 67, okay, count. Then I would say probably that I'm pretty high up there. I feel like it's a good lineup. I'm really liking the look of this team. There's obviously bits and pieces everyone would change, bits and pieces we all have opinions on. But in general, especially that front four, on paper at least, that's probably the strongest front four attacking-wise we have. You can make arguments for maybe Ben Raba dropping for, say, 4 nows if you're looking for a bit more of a defensive display. You can make arguments for dropping Bowen in terms of form right now. But on paper, attacking-wise, that is probably our best 4 up front, and that is very exciting to see them all back. It's really exciting to see Paqueta back. It's exciting for the whole just situation, because I think we're going to see a slightly different West Ham today, a team who can step up and really make themselves known, sort of thing, and other such platitudes and whatnot, right? But looking at the lineups, you lot seem to be equally happy as well. We'll end the poll there. 45 minutes into it, 52% of you said you were very happy about the lineup. 43% said it's all right. Only 2% said it's poor, and 1% fuming. So as you can see, pretty happy with the lineup going through into this one. Pretty happy with the lineup. We're going to skip sub bingo and go straight to score predictions, because there is only a couple of minutes until kickoff. I of course have a top timer up in the top corner here, which allows you to know just how far behind I will be, because of course it is not live on in the UK today, which means I'm all the way in North Idaho in the boy Danny's holiday home. Here he is. That's why he's got the lights. He's very excited about today. I'm here in his holiday home in North Idaho, which means that I will be ever so slightly behind, because it's just the way these things go. So, timer up in the top corner. Although everyone can't watch it today, so maybe I'll be on time. Who knows? Maybe I'll be on time. Unlikely. Very unlikely. And it's going to be a fun, stressful moment for us all, trying to figure out how to watch it. Also, Michael, if you're still here, by the way, I did see your comment about Freddie Pickion. Michael, by the way, if you're a patron and you haven't watched Two Spanners, One Hammer this week, which Michael was the guest on, Michael Levy Jr., then I would highly recommend, if you just skip to the wheel section at the end, must be last 10 minutes or something. Michael has an unreal Freddie Pickion story, and I would highly recommend it gets brought up. You go and watch it. And if you want a Patreon, hey, patreon.com/hammerchat, link in the description below. It helps, especially when we don't have sponsors. It helps massively. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. What was it going to be? I don't remember. Oh, if you are unable to watch the game today for obvious reasons, if you're in the UK, it's just not on television. If you're in the US and you don't have access to anything, there are definitely ways you can do it. I would recommend scrolling down into the description below. There's a bit there called Join Our Discord. Completely free to join. Lovely West Ham Hammers Chat community. Completely free to join. However, more importantly, if you scroll down on the left-hand side, there's a bit there called Stream Links, and you should find, hopefully, what you're looking for just before kickoff, somewhere around that sort of time is usually when it happens. The earlier the kickoff, the more likely it's going to be slightly later, because we have to wake up and stuff. We have to wake up and stuff. Right, while I try and find that, let's go through the score predictions one last final time. They didn't. To be fair, they didn't. No one did. I woke up one day and I was right, now's the time. That's what happens with me. I wake up and I go, it's now, and I just do it, and that's the day it gets done. Until that point, I'm just sort of maybe soon, maybe not, and then I just wake up one day and it happens. That's what happened. There was no forcing on that side, but just Pringle haters. You know, what's wrong with a Pringle? What's wrong with a Pringle? 3-1 West Ham, 7-6 Big, 4-1, 2-1, 3-0. I do want to shave it, Ishmael. I do want to shave it because obviously it's so long. You can do different stupid things with it. So as I'm doing it, I can't lie to you and act like I don't like do a handlebar. Sometimes do mutton chops. You know, just sometimes I'll do half ons, half off. Just see what it looks like. And it's all equally awful. 1-0, 3-0, 3-0, 2-1. Beardless vibes will carry us through. Yes, Paul. That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying today. A helpful 2-0 West Ham win. We'll take that. 2-1 West Ham. I'm confident, but Crystal Palace are good. 2-0 or 3-1, 2-1. Keep going. 20-0 like always. Leo loving the confidence. Loving the confidence. Palace have nothing. 3-0 win. Easy. Jonathan saying. Big. We're saying 3-0 to West Ham. 4-1 to West Ham win. I'm confident we'll spank Palace today. Hope 2-1. 2-1. 2-0. 2-1. Yeah. Maybe. I'll just grey out for November. We'll see what happens. Probably won't get that impressive, to be fair. 4-1. Everything else goes quite quickly. This takes way longer for some reason. 3-2. 2-1. Start fast, says Ray. I agree. 3-1. 2-0. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's lots more to click through, which I'll be going through. And as I say this, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because we were the only channel last year to do a watch along for every single match day of the Premier League, of every competition. We did one for every single competition. We were here. Yes, Mr. Pardew. Yes. So if you're looking for a way to keep up with the game, if you're looking for place to talk to people about the game, if you're looking for just a good time, I would recommend subscribing and hitting that bell notifications button so you don't miss out on future streams, because we are here every single match day without fail. Apart from those 2 times out since we started, I did fail. But that's only 2 in literally over 2 years, in over 2 seasons. So I'm backing myself on that. Anyway. It'll be kicking off. It'll probably be kicked off for some of you now. It'll be kicking off for me in just a moment. I'm finding a way on the television to watch the match. I can see Lucas Paqueta. What a time to be alive. However, if you're looking for a way to keep up, remember there's a time in the top corner. It says exactly what time it is for me. And if you're looking for a way to watch the game, then I would highly recommend checking out the Discord below. It's West Ham United versus Crystal Palace at the London Stadium. It's a big opportunity for both teams. It's a great opportunity for us. We get all our front 4 back, which is very exciting. Kickoff is just about to happen on my screen. Ladies and gentlemen, deploy the boys. Come on, you irons. It's time to run 2 things. All that good stuff. It's West Ham. It's Crystal Palace. And it's underway. Let's go. Let's go. There we go. But Lucas Paqueta instantly charging down maybe Mitchell or something. I can't quite tell. This one's a bit choppy, so we're gonna keep looking. But we got one in the bank, you know, just in case. There we go. As Gio said, I think Gio makes a good point with the front 4, saying that all we need is 2 of them to be really in top form, and then all of a sudden, that's really good for us. If we could get 2 of them in just good form, playing well, looking sharp, then that bodes really, really well for us for this game specifically. Declan Rice getting swamped out there, a little bit awkward, but Tilo Kehrer does well to find Jarrod Bowen, and that's a really nice switch of play by Jarrod Bowen. Out wide to the left-hand side, Aaron Cresswell charging forward down the left. He's got Skamaka in the centre. He finds it. Oh, it was so close. It was a nice run from Skamaka, and the ball was played in at the exact right time. He just cuts inside on his man. Oh, that's a big ball looking for Zaha on the counter-attack. And simply put, Craig Dawson says no, because Zaha goes down, and it's going to be a free kick to Crystal Palace, but I like that from Craig Dawson, just stopping it. But yeah, I think he makes a good point about all we need is sort of 2 players on that front 4 playing really well, and all of a sudden we're going to be in a really strong position to win this game. We have more than Crystal Palace. I really like a lot of things to be Crystal Palace, but we do have a lot more than them. I didn't see the cap. I'm very excited to see the cap now. I mean, it is absolutely pissing it down. It is raining cats and dogs at the London Stadium. Walking back. I'll tell you what. This is how much I suffer from my craft. Okay, yesterday when I was coming back from the shops and it was absolutely pouring it down, and I was very unhappy. But I had baby bells, so it made it better. But I'll tell you what, I suffer from my craft. Free kick is quite far away from Palace, probably too far away from shooting position. Although Eze is standing over it, he does go for it. Into the hands of Fabianski. He stops it first time and then it sort of rolls out a little bit. Second time he collects it before Zaha can pounce. Shot from range. I mean, it's impressive to go from that sort of range. I wouldn't have expected it from Palace, but he's gone for it. Fair play. West Ham passing it around at the back, and it's good pressing from Palace. It's something we're going to have to pay attention to, because we've just ended up having to pass it back to Fabianski and boot it long, which isn't super great. We're going to have to see a little bit less of that, maybe. Good hit from Eze on a free kick. Yeah. That's a great shout. The classic. I have a problem because I read that as John Marston originally, and I was like, he has a sheepskin coat. But I remembered when he said Motson, what happened? I would love that. I should get the mic as well. Do you know what I mean? Do the full effect. I think it would be good. Now, can I afford a sheepskin coat like his? No, probably not. I would probably get a cheap one somewhere. Charity shop looks kind of crap and kind of crappy, but I'd take being a crap John Motson any day. You know? It was very. I'm seeing Nathaniel Klein is just a blast and blast. Do you remember when we tried to buy him originally? Was it from Crystal Palace when he moved to Southampton? And he ended up going... Was he at Crystal Palace originally? He was, wasn't he? And he ended up going to Southampton ahead of us. And then he obviously came up to the Premier League, went to Liverpool, had a great career and everything else, and got injured and then tapered off massively. But I remember us trying to buy him and being very frustrated when it didn't happen. Very frustrated when it didn't happen. It's just nice to see them, you know what I mean? And we were talking about on Two Spanners this week. Michael was bringing it up and we were talking about it. I think he is massively important to the team. Like, going forwards, you're looking at a situation where it will probably be, if you're playing a defensive two, Kurt Zouma, who's currently on the ball, and Aguerd would probably be the two you would suspect going forward. But for now, Craig Dawson is just so important to this team. Nice idea for a 1-2 between Ben Rama and Cresswell, but just get forced back. Again, Crystal Palace is doing good pressing work here. West Ham are passing it around sort of casually at the back, trying to find a bit of space. Nice link-up play between Rice, Souček, Ben Rama and Aaron Cresswell. Ben Rama just can't quite get there, and they transition very quickly, Crystal Palace. Just very direct counter-attacking football, flying forward. Jordan Ayew, who is starting wide on this right-hand side with Zaha down the middle, in case you were interested. Elise managed to wiggle his way in almost, but Craig Dawson gets the head away. But they're pressing well here, Newcastle. Mitchell almost gets a second bite of the cherry. He can't quite get anything on it, and it's nodded away from Declan Rice. That was Lucas Paqueta, sorry. I was say his hair looked different, but I thought it was the rain. But we are going to have to be a bit. We are going to have to be a bit cautious about the sort of playing around at the back. We've not got the best two ball players in defence in our lineup in Zouma and Dawson. I think both can hit a long ball, but neither of them are. You know, they're not Aguerd in terms of passing. They're not Kehrer in terms of passing. I'd maybe make the argument that Ogbonna's a little bit more comfortable than either of them passing short as well. And Palace and Zaha, well, this is a good opportunity. He pulls it back. Eze hits it. Flipping heck. Drag just wide. And I'll tell you what, they're starting very, very brightly. I was going to say call them Newcastle, Crystal Palace. Like I said, we are going to have to be careful because we're going to pass around at the back a little bit, and they have been really lively and they've been good at pressing, finding good areas, just blocking the passing lanes while also pressing, something we don't do often enough and something they've looked really good at so far today. And then when they come forward, it's just really direct, but a lot of movement and a lot of creative players in and around the area just creating space for themselves. It was a nice pullback, and Eze can't get it on target, just pulls it wide. But we're going to have to be a bit careful, and we're reverting very, very quickly in this first half to just booting it long. Crystal Palace are forcing us to just back to Dawson, back to Zouma, back even to Fabianski, and they're just booting it long. We're not getting to play our game at all. They are the intensity of Crystal Palace. I mean, if you've ever wanted to see the difference between the Europa League game and the Premier League game, just watch these two right now. And Europa Conference League in general, not as leisurely as the game was against FCSB, but the intensity is just night and day difference. Palace are really at it. He does have a little cap. Look at David Moyes in his little cap. We're playing like a Tony Pulis side so far as well, and he's got his little cap on. They are very quick. They're very direct. They just get it, and not in a long way. Direct on the floor, looking at Zaha, Eze, Elise, Ayew, just making nice runs in round time, overlapping, just finding out. It's just good stuff. It's just really good stuff. The little Umbro cap. The little Umbro cap. Fat Trick Vieira. Very good. I wouldn't say it's his face. Scary individual, but very good work. Stuart, good to see you. I was actually on the disabled team this week on Friday, which was very exciting for me as a fan of the disabled team and a fan of Extra Time. I was actually on it, predictably talking about a bid, but I would highly recommend you subscribe. Not for me, for everything else that Stuart does, and everyone who gets involved in the disabled team videos. I would highly recommend. But yeah, good to see you, Stuart. Hope you are, bro. Nice short pass into Elise. Again, Crystal Palace just camped outside our box. It was a nice clip into the box. Mitchell, who's very far forward, just sort of awkwardly up against Kera, who doesn't fill you with confidence in the air. And again, it doesn't happen. Just good defensive work from Thomas Souček there. Declan Rice got mugged off a little bit. Thomas Souček comes in and just like clears that up nicely. Another ball in from Crystal Palace, and Craig Dawson's forced to just get anything on it, and it's going to be a corner. It's going to be a corner. Scary, nervy start for West Ham as Crystal Palace are really putting it on us in a big way. Footy pass is what I'll say. I can't remember which one. I think it was like 5 or 6, but footy pass. Obviously, if you're ever looking at the Discord or looking anywhere to watch games online, I would highly recommend. Bless me, I muted the wrong thing. I muted the game and not my microphone. I apologize. That was probably incredibly loud. That was a very emphatic sneeze as well. I apologize. Not the worst one on this stream, obviously. But Zaha tries to pull it back, cleared away again, but only as far as Elise gets a second time to put it in over the top of everyone. I apologize. What I would say is ad block, VPNs, all that good stuff. Try to use that, but yeah. One of my favourite players, Jeffrey Schlupp, lays it out wide to Elise. Back to Schlupp, Elise. And I can't act like I don't just love his name with Jeffrey Schlupp. I like him as a player. I think he's a decent player. But I can't act like ever since I saw him playing for Leicester in that title-winning season, his name didn't just fill me with joy and love. And I've not stopped talking about him since. Nice passing from West Ham, calmly at the back. Paqueta getting involved. But again, you're playing it back to Fabianski, who's just going to have to force it long. I tell you what, Crystal Palace are doing really, really well. Really, really well. I'm seeing a troll in a chat. How's the boat? I'm glad she's got a signal. They play it forward again, Crystal Palace. They're doing really well. Elise tries to dink it across, but thankfully it's straight into the hands of Fabianski. And this time we need to play it out quickly. Nice pass from Paqueta out wide to Aaron Cresswell. This is where we need to go quicker, but instantly we've been forced backwards again, and the crowd are not happy about it. There was a cheer as it started to go forward, and the second it gets forced backwards again, there was a big. Declan Rice going for his big old crossfield diag. He finds Jarrod Bowen, who does the classic run backwards and then pass backwards thing he always does. I mean, to be fair, it's not just him. It's basically everyone in the team, but still. Zuma lays it into the path of Ben Rama out wide to the left-hand side. Aaron Cresswell gets forward into a good position. Crossing it, looking for Skamaka over the top. Jarrod Bowen got on the end of it and hit it, but it was dragged significantly wide. The best opportunity we've had. We had one similar in the first couple of minutes where Skamaka just couldn't quite get that touch on it to touch and turn. Again, finding that ball to Aaron Cresswell, who plays it in an earlier cross. Not quite getting into the corner quadrant, just crossing it from the early. It would have been incredible from Jarrod Bowen that far, but yeah. Thanks, man. Look at the joy you've brought on him. Look at the joy you've brought to his face. We do start very, very slowly. It's very annoying. To be fair to Bowen, it was a difficult chance. I think he should have taken a touch. I think he had the time to maybe take a touch and then take a shot. A defender would have been on him, but you would back Jared Bowen in form, in confidence, to take maybe a little shimmy around a defender before taking a shot away. Instead, he just snaps at it and it goes wide, which is frustrating, but it is what it is. Yeah, I just don't think he's just not on it at the moment. There's been a couple of games I felt like he was starting to build that form back up, but it just, since then it's sort of dissipated back down again, and I don't know, he's just not what he was, and I'm not really. He's just not as he was, and I mean, last season was obviously an apparition in terms of like he was ridiculously in form, and like he was never going to match that again. He might have improved himself to be a player who's just that good, but he was never ever going to match that sort of level again, in my opinion. But he's dropped off significantly since then, significantly. And it's frustrating. All crossed him from Palace, headed away from Craig Dawson, not comfortably. Souček tries to get it away, lands at the feet of Craig Dawson, who is just going to punt it clear. He does. And there is not a single West Ham player in the same postcode as that clearance. It's dropped off significantly. Like, even for me, who thought that he couldn't maintain that level, he's dropped off massively from where he was. He just isn't in form. Frankly, he just isn't in form. And it's frustrating because Jared Bowen in form is an incredible asset to have. Jared Bowen not in form, frankly, is a bit of an anchor around the neck of West Ham, you know. A ball and chain we're sort of dragging along. We're playing him every week because of what he could potentially be, whereas in reality, it's not happening. That's a really nice ball from Crystal Palace into the path of Elise. Really nice forward pass. Again, they're so direct. I love it. Played into Nathaniel Klein, back out to Elise, pushes it wide. Looking to try and dribble their way in. Doesn't quite work out, although that is an awful, awful pass. Said Benrahma almost absolutely suicide. There is no option. Bruv, give him options. Said Benrahma is holding it up by our corner flag and just trying desperately to do something. Paqueta comes and gives his options. Paqueta then back to Rice. Nice ball out, but an awkward pass from Skamaka, but thankfully he wins a free kick. That's just awful stuff. We are struggling. Ranex, looking for a way to watch the game, my friends. I would highly recommend you check out our Discord. Link in the description below. There it says join our Discord. Completely free Hammers Chat. West Ham community fans of all clubs welcome. Nice place to just have conversation with people. But more importantly, on the left hand side, if you scroll down, you'll find a bit there called join our called Stream Links, and you should find what you're looking for. I would highly recommend you have a look. Ball down the line was pouring. Crystal Palace are going to win a throw in their own half. If you can't find one in Discord, £30. And I think like 6, but you know. Long ball from Palace, thankfully straight to Kurtzuma. Again, he's just moving a little bit gingerly there, but we'll see how that goes on throughout the team. And Fabianski, long ball, goes literally all the way to Gaeta, nowhere even close, no one even challenging for it. I'm not going to lie, this was kind of a little bit of a concern of mine. I mean, you look at the lineups, right? And again, I spoke super positively, and I'm really excited to see this front four together. But we're barely being able to get the ball to them. And when we do, it's in very awkward off positions. Crystal Palace are being so good so far. John Ayew does really well there. So just force Benrahma off the ball. Elise runs almost into trouble. Bit of a weird movement from him there, but still. And it's frustrating that what's played out is Crystal Palace have been so good going forward, specifically like their direct passing, their counter-attacking has been really nice. But the pressing and the lack of passing options, that counter-pressing style has been a massive, massive problem for us. So as good as our front four is, and on paper, like I say, it's brilliant front four, none of them are getting the ball. None of them are getting the ball. The most opportunities we're going to get are where Cresswell gets a little bit forward, Kara, maybe later on in the game, he hasn't done it really yet, but Cresswell specifically getting forward into those areas and working in early crosses. And that's been an issue. Nice 1-2 from Crystal Palace down the wing. Tyrick Mitchell looking in for Ayew at the back post. Cresswell nods it back down. And Cresswell stayed down annoyingly. That was a decent counter-attacking opportunity, but with our injury record right now, it's probably best to wait a second. Nice ball from Skamaka. That's really nice work. Thomas Chusek finds Skamaka. First time ball over the top for Bowen. He ran himself into a dead end. It's a poor decision from Jared Bowen, but he's at least getting forward. And now Kara joins him. Oh, really nice. Just dribble. Just first touch round the defender. Does well. Nice pass back into Thomas Souček as well. To Declan Rice. There wasn't really any options on. And again, we start the horseshoe, ladies and gentlemen. Back to Said Benrahma now. We start a horseshoe. We went up one side, basically touched the corner flag, worked our way all the way back to the centre circle and back up to the left corner flag. We love a horseshoe here, ladies and gentlemen. Paul, you might be right. You might be right. I'm not going to lie. Long ball back to Zuma. Like I said, it's just frustrating because, you know, I don't know. I feel like we should be better than this. But still, Skamaka out wide to Jared Bowen. We're at least getting a little bit more forward now. Tyrick Mitchell gets a block from a poor cross attempt from Jared Bowen, if we're being honest about it, but that's fine. Zaha bullied there. That's where it's better for us. If we're in this sort of positions, we can do it a little bit better. Benrahma does well. Hits it. Oh! Said Benrahma! Holy moly! I mean, if you ever seen a better example of quote-unquote against the run of play, Said Benrahma has just hit an absolute thunderbolt into the top left-hand corner. Not even postage stamp. He's just absolutely whapped it in. Said Benrahma. Flipping heck. Good to see Danny Dice, chocolate homunculus. I hope you are. Said Benrahma. So Jared Bowen, when the initial attempt at a cross, it was awful, to be honest with you, and Mitchell does well. But the pass forward, this is where Crystal Palace can be a bit weaker and where we need to be stronger. And it ends up landing at the feet of Paqueta. He lays it into Said Benrahma, who just holds off. Holy hell, what a finish. Craig Dawson with initial really nice challenge. Souček lays it off. Paqueta picks up the ball, shakes one off Jordan Ayew, Said Benrahma, who then just hits an absolute thunderbolt into that top left-hand corner. Zero chance of being saved. What a hit. And unbelievably against the run of play, it's West Ham United 1 and it's Crystal Palace 0. They haven't been able to make anything of all of the chances they've got. And we've gone up the other end, and that front four, again, making it count. A Paqueta assist and a Said Benrahma goal. What an absolute hit. Flipping heck. My God. We'll be taking that. That's the better position for us. When we aren't allowing them to counter-attacking numbers, when they're looking for that, because they're very direct, Crystal Palace, and they play on the floor, which I love, right? I'm heavily about it. I love the way they play. If you're playing counter-attacking football, do it like them. It's kind of Klopp-like. I'm going to be honest about it, and I really enjoy it, okay? But when they're deep inside their own area, like they were there, they're going to look directly for the longest out ball possible. They're going to look for that direct pass. And that tends to be, in this case, Zaha down the middle. And Zaha down the middle where there's no other options. Oh, Paqueta. It was probably necessary to get the ball to Declan Rice. But it's a beautiful thing. Oh, a nice one too as well from Kara and Bowen. Kara streaming down the right-hand side. Skamaka making a run in the middle. Looks to try and find him. It was a difficult cross. It doesn't work out, but he gets it past his man at least. And when they play that long direct ball out to Zaha, he's completely isolated and you're expecting a lot of him. Basically, what David Moyes does with Mikel Antonio, that's what you're seeing in that specific scenario. And what happened there, Craig Dawson just pushes him, gets the little foot in first, back, bomb, lovely, lovely stuff. He's just better blonde. He's just better blonde. It's just a fact of life. That's what we need. We need to be as far in the area as possible to force that situation. Because Zaha, obviously an unbelievably talented footballer, incredibly talented footballer, especially with the ball at his feet. You'd back him one-on-one against most of our players, right? You really would. But realistically, that's where we come at our best, when we can force them into playing those long out balls. If we can just camp inside our half, which is not in their half, which is not something we do often. We do what's happening now, which is defend for our lives and just camp, which is why we start slower. Then we can get something from this. We can start to look as good as we just were. But Crystal Palace are right back on top of us, passing the ball in and around our area, looking for the opportunity. But there's just a little bit more buoyancy in the team, a little bit more buoyancy in the atmosphere for West Ham. And thankfully, Zaha having a little pop at Craig Dawson. Back down. Calm down, Zaha. I think Zaha is an overrated player, but he did not. It was Paqueta. Dawson got his little foot in. It landed at Thomas Souček, lays it off to, I think, Tito Kehrer, passes it to Paqueta. Paqueta turns around, plays it into the path of Ben Rama, shrugs off Ayew, smacks it in top corner. If that wasn't clear. Look, Zaha's obviously a very good player. I do think he's overrated, but he's obviously a very good player. What I would say, a bit of a moaner and needs to calm down. You know what I mean? Bit of a moaner and needs to calm down. Going up against Craig Dawson, it's like, what are you going to do? Like, realistically, what are you going to do? We do sit unbelievably deep, Brent. It is our. Thank you very much, Olivia. That's very kind of you. I do think we do sit unbelievably deep. It is quite annoying. I get why we're doing. I get it. It's the David Moyes style. We sit deep. We make it difficult for the opposition, but it does allow the opposition the opportunity to get on top of us. And when they're on top of us, we end up just booting it long. And especially when we're playing Scamacca, where Antonio, you at least have that out ball of someone who can, like I was saying about Zaha, can just pick up the ball and run at defenses, can turn or whatever. That's not Scamacca's game. We need to be a bit more possession based. We need to be a bit more advanced with it. All that good stuff. It allows them too much. It gives them too much respect, if you want to put it that way. I think it just allows them too much. Very annoying, but still. Dean, my friend, how are you? I hope you're well. I was listening to the mix. I saw you when you reposted it on Twitter. Bro, I was having a whale of a time. I told you I was going to listen to it when it's show. I had a whale of a time. If you haven't also... Dean, I don't know what your Twitter is. I can't... Is it just Dean Marsh? Isn't there a number on it? I might be mad. All I'm saying is, check out Dean's Mix Club. That's all I'm saying. And you're going to have a grand old time. I can see people saying, what channel is it on, everything else. Obviously, it's not on UK television today because we don't get to watch things that happen in our country for some weird reason. But if you are looking for a way to watch the game, there are definitely ways you can do it. Oh, Titch, my G, how are you, sir? You can't see, but I'm doing a lot. How are you, my friend? I hope you're well. Hope you're on a grand day. We're looking bad. I can't lie to you. We are looking bad. But we're winning, and that's all that matters. It's been an awful start from us. Crystal Palace have been utterly brilliant. They really are stepping to us in a big way, but they've not managed to convert those chances. And we went up the other end and side. Berrama scored an absolute screamer. So we take it. Oh, Decore does really well there. He's not going to listen. You're confident when Decore gets into those positions, you're not going to see maybe a screamer. I would potentially say, but he does get forward well there. Zaha, who's getting man marked by Dawson in a big way, just manhandled there. They're playing it around, and Decore gets the ball, sort of takes it past Souček really well, but the shot was disgraceful in the end. It was a very good goal. Said Ben Rama did really well. It was completely and utterly against the run of play, as Dean's saying here, completely against the run of play. But yeah, Said Ben Rama has the ball, Paqueta finds him, and he just manages to shake off Jordan Ayew, who was on top of him. There's a second Palace player next to him. He doesn't press him early enough, and then from just outside the D hits a big old whack into the top bins. Not postage, but it was flipping hard. Like, watch it. He put some stank on that ball. You know. Listen, soon it might not matter at all, Dean. But the way that platform's going, it probably doesn't matter what it is. But you know, for some reason I think it's a number. I've got the number 13 in my head, which is probably wrong, but. Decore loses the ball there, dives in on Declan Rice, who's insistent on that being a foul, and he looks a bit worse for wear. Declan Rice. He's then talking to the referee about it. He's going to stay on, thankfully. But Decore, who had the ball, he gets tackled by Paqueta, who just gets a touch in, knocks it away from him, and then as Declan Rice picks up the loose ball, he just dives in on him. That Declan Rice is insistent on his studs up foul. You could do a poll, Olivia. Do we want to? I could do a poll on whatever we're vibing. I'll tell you what. We'll do the winning poll. We'll do the winning poll. I think it's an interesting time to do it. I thought I was a streaker for a second. I realised it was a pitch invader. I realised it was the ref. Crystal Palace. That's how you spell Palace, Charlie. There we go. Go on the chat. Let me know. We'll leave it on for a while. Let's see what happens. Played forward to Tilo Kehrer. Finds Skamaka, who's having a difficult day. He's trying to hold off the defender. Again, he's in a difficult position. We're not really playing to his strengths, but it's a nice hold off there, but it doesn't quite work, and they get forward. He does really nicely to track back and just stop that one from going any further. Not necessarily what you want to see from your striker, jumping back like that, but when he perhaps loses out on the ball, nice to see. And with someone like Paqueta, you can see, movement. Yeah, United are still 2-0 down, amazingly, to Aston Villa. 29 minutes in. I think they started at the same time as us, didn't they? Oof. Skamaka, it was a nice idea to try and find Ben Rama, but the pass just wasn't quite there. You can see Skamaka, he's struggling today. He's huffing and puffing a little bit. It was nice play to get it out. For once it's Paqueta. Such a nice through ball. And the ball to Ben Rama. It was a really good opportunity to try and find Ben Rama. He tries to just put it into Ben Rama's path with his weak foot. Is he weak foot? Is he left foot? Skamaka, is he right foot? He's probably right foot. So let's say he's strong foot. But the point is, he tries to put it into his path and it's just straight into the feet of the defender. And they can get away. Positives from that movement, though. We did really well to break their lines. When we were up against it, when we were backed up against it, some nice quick passing, Bowen involved in that as well, and then a brilliant ball forward from Paqueta, a really nice, clean, crisp pass, I should say, from Paqueta. Kehrer does well just to get back there. It was a scary moment, but he does well to stop that. And under some pressure, we'll take that free kick. Tarek Mitchell, thank you very much. We'll be taking it. Dean Armarsh. There we go. There was something in there. Was I wrong? I was 100% wrong. Was there something in there? Yes, there was. Go to Dean's Twitter account. There's a link to his Mixcloud on there. You'll have a good time. Trust me on that. Good. One of those ones where, like, again, you see the ability. His forward passing is just so good. Like, he gets the ball and he finds the nice passes. Like there with the counter-attack where Skamaka ends up sort of losing out and then has to come back to try and win the ball back to sort of make up for it. The ball forward he plays there, first time, just getting it into the feet is really nice. And there's just that level above what we were missing for a long time, that incisive, direct passing that we've been missing. It's really good to see him back. I mean, you're not wrong, mate. I am. I can't act like I'm not. You would never see me claim to be correct. You would never see me claim to be correct at all. Yeah, it's all right. A bit rainy. bit rainy today, but came up with this festive boy. He's having a grand old time, so I can't complain, Deckers. How are you, sir? I hope you're well, by the way. Declan Rice to play the free kick in for some reason, and the header over. Well and truly over from Craig Dawson. Still don't know why we let Declan Rice take free kicks, but there we go. Feels superfluous when we have a lot of the players we have on the pitch, but there we go. Declan Rice whips in the ball, and Dawson gets on the end of it, but he's always underneath it, and it goes whoosh, super up and over. To be fair, I'll say this. Where is it? Yeah, I'll say this about Squackon. I think he'll be fine as well. Difficult start from him, and it's always difficult when we're not playing super to his strengths, which we are not at all to his today. We are not even close to playing to his strengths. But outside of that, I believe he'll 100% be correct. Fine. I think the 3 at the back system is going to help him. I know people don't like me when I say this, but I think the 3 at the back system is definitely the way to go. I think it's definitely the way to go. For us under David Moyes. If it was a different manager, I would have a different opinion. But specifically under David Moyes, I think it's definitely the way to go. Crystal Palace playing it around at the back. This is where I'd want a lot more. This is where I'd want a lot more of a proactive press. And we're just cutting the passing lanes, but not super well. And we're allowing them to get forward to an extent where we are just going to concertina back like that. And it's a good opportunity for Crystal Palace. They wobble their way through. Thankfully, Zaha can't get the control, and Kurt Zouma wobbles out with the ball, plays it into the path of Lucas Paqueta. It's going to be a free kick to Crystal Palace somehow against WHUCRY. I'm not really sure how, but still. Good defending there. Good defending at the death. Crystal Palace again, which is bad defending from us. I don't know why we do that. It's laid into the path of Eze, who finds Elise. Zaha's there. It dinks a little bit off Elise's foot. And then I think it's Aaron Cresswell who ends up getting back and stopping that. Or it's a mix of Cresswell and Ben Rama get into good positions, and Zouma can just come away with him. Oh, Lee's here. Lee, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. Yeah, I don't want to see 2 strikers either. But I think you can play a 3 at the back system where you're not playing 2 strikers. Mitchell, I was going to say, good defender from Jared Bowen. That's why he stays in the team, isn't it? Tarek Mitchell got into a good advanced position there, tries to whip in the ball, and it's just a good block from, it's just a really good block from Jared Bowen. Just charging back, does well to just get on his bike and just a big dive in. It's very aesthetically pleasing, that clearance. Played short and quickly from the corner for Zaha and Bowen. That's a free kick right on the edge of the area. Bowen's now looking at Zaha and sort of saying, really? Yeah, it's one of those ones where Zaha steps across the ball to just try and just to protect it, knowing that the challenge is going to come in and goes down. It's a definitive free kick. There's not much. I mean, Jared Bowen can be annoyed about it as much as he likes, but it's a definitive free kick, and it's a great opportunity for Crystal Palace. A free kick right on the edge of the area, and it's probably good range as well. It's not even one of those ones where it's a bit. I mean, it's maybe a tiny bit close, but even then, I don't think it is. Slightly off centre to the left hand side. Our right hand side, if you want to put it like that. Crystal Palace, Eze standing over it. He hit the first one. You would imagine he's going to hit this one. Elise's also there, but Eze places it, takes the steps back. Does the Ronaldo... Is it Ronaldo? No, does the David Beckham couple of steps and then one to the side. Johnny Wilkinson stuff. We've got a wall. This is a great opportunity for Crystal Palace. They came close with the first free kick. It was on target. Steps up, hits it. Straight into the wall. We'll be taking that. Thank you very much. We'll be taking that. Bad free kick in the end. But bloody hell. Bloody hell. Yeah, I agree. It's a definite foul. He steps across the ball to stop it, but definite foul. We'll take that. Eze's free kick straight into the wall. Tries to put it on the opposite side and just doesn't make a difference. Declan Rice gets his foot to it. Short from corner again. Nice 1-2 between Elise and Eze. Elise put it He put it into a relatively dangerous area, but it was overhit and it's way over. 38 minutes on the clock. 1-0 to us, and it has been very much Crystal Palace's game. Very, very much Crystal Palace's game. You know? No. Not in any way, shape, or form. The goal was about as against the run of play as humanly possible. And then, since then, the run of play has continued in Crystal Palace's direction. We had like two opportunities. We had two sort of... We've been a little bit better since just before the goal. We had an opportunity just before the goal. And we've gotten a little bit more forward, but by a little bit, I mean minusculely. It's barely worth mentioning. Good interception. Good work from Thomas Tuchel and Declan Rice. Declan Rice with a nice control. Ball forward was poor, but Skamaka battles well to keep it. And Paqueta nicely laid off to Jared Bowen. Back to Paqueta. Oh, he's just so good on the ball, man. Looking for a sort of stabbed through ball to Jared Bowen. It doesn't walk out. It's blocked. But Crystal Palace again with that very direct counter-attacking, looking directly forward. And it's going to be a free kick to us, thankfully, against Jordan Ayew. Oh, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. That is big. That is big. I say this. Jonathan, Alex. Like, Alex, you're here a lot. Jonathan, I think I've seen your name before. I'm pretty certain I have. Just don't argue amongst each other. Do you know what I mean? We all West Ham fans. There's no deepness here. We don't have to have a big old argument. Like, I'm not going to ban Irish or whatever. Just less arguments amongst yourselves. You know, you can have a conversation, but it's definitely veering into an argument. And we don't need it. So let's just tranquilo, yeah? Tranquilo. Zaha lays it out wide to Eze. He's up one-on-one with Tilo Carey. Decides to lay it short to Zaha again, who maintains a space just sort of outside the area. Souček looked like he had it covered. Then Rice stepped up and it sort of made it a bit awkward, but we force it back. Skamaka gets involved, trying to stop Schlupp. Can't. 1-2. Jeffrey Schlupp hits it. Saved by Lucas Fabianski. We'll take that. Straight into the hands. I love Jeffrey Schlupp. I can't act like I don't love Jeffrey Schlupp. It's one of the problems. Oh, some awful defending. I don't know what happens, but we come back from the replay and Crystal Palace are on the counter-attack. Wilfried Zaha hits it. It's 1-1. I don't know what happened. It came back from the replay and Tilo Kehrer was already basically falling over as whichever one of Crystal Palace's front line was nipping it off him. I didn't even have time to really figure it out. I think it was Eze or Elise. Fabianski rolls it short to Dawson. Dawson lays it off to Kehrer, who's a heavy touch. Again, and it's Eze who nips the ball in, lays it short to Zaha, whose first touch. Dawson can't get close enough to him, and he finishes it really well. It's 1-1. I'm saying this passing it around is just suicidal today. Crystal Palace is all over us every time, but that's not even all. I'm chatting bullshit because that's not even all over us. Like, they've been all over us before. That was just minor pressing, and we crumbled. A very, very heavy touch from Tilo Kehrer, who is probably way too wide to pick up that ball. Eze comes in and nips it off him. All it takes is that heavy touch. Finds Zaha, turns, hits it, goal. Bad. Just bad. Just bad. This is what I'm saying. You are, of course, entitled to your opinion, as is Jonathan. What I'm saying is, don't argue with each other. Do you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. That's just bad. I need to change the score. That's just bad defending. Because I'll say this, Alex, you know this, right? Because I know you've been around quite a lot, Alex, so I know you know I've said this before, sort of thing. But I don't really care who's right in an argument. We just don't need the argument. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at. And so I know I'm not even going to say who's right and who's wrong out of the two of you in terms of opinion, or even who's right or wrong in terms of the argument, or who's doing it or whatever. Let's just both just chillax. You know what I mean? Because everyone is entitled to their own opinions. It's just when it starts getting just like battering two people against each other, then all that's going to do is escalate and other people get involved in it. It just escalates from around there. So it doesn't need to be happening. 1-1. Wilfried Zaha with the goal, very annoyingly. Just bad defending. Just bad defending. I mean, again, playing around like that at the back has been suicidal today. Crystal Palace have really been on it. But that wasn't even all over us. That was just one person coming in and opinion. Before, they've had numbers. They've been all over us. That was just a heavy touch, a heavy mistaken touch. And then all of a sudden it's in. I don't know, just not great. Not great. Schlupp looking for Mitchell, and Tilo Kehrer that time very comfortably just tells Mitchell no, basically. Just shoves him out of the way. It's going to be a goal kick to West Ham. I respect the fact we're trying to sort of play out from the back. I think this is one of the things we're missing, is we are genuinely trying to play out from the back. I know we all look at it and go, this is David Moyes football. And what we actually mean by that is it's very defensive and whatever, right? And it is. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like it isn't, because it is. The one thing I will say is what we're missing here is that, unlike David Moyes, we are genuinely trying to play out from the back. We are genuinely trying to sort of play the ball forwards from the defence, get it short, and then start passing it around. There is a little bit of that. The problem is the second that doesn't work, we end up putting it long, and that's what usually happens. Because they press you, we end up getting a bit panicky, we play it back to centre-backs, play it back to Fabianski, boots it long, they win the ball back, right? That's the bad bit. But we are doing that, and that's where that goal comes directly from. Paqueta that time trying to find Scamacca who does well to hold on to the ball the first time, can't hold on to it the second. And this is another example of this game. I mean, Scamacca's performance so far, Zaha is predictably on the floor for some reason. With Scamacca in this game specifically, you're seeing another example of why David Moyes likes subbing him off and bringing Antonio on. I mean, there is the obvious fact that you just change up the tactics, right? You change up what you're doing. It's a good sub to do. You're resting people up. You're giving Antonio a go, bringing him on. He has a lot of energy, a lot of strength, lots of good attributes that make him a sort of super sub-style player, which is a good thing. But 2 minutes on stoppage time. It's one of those situations where you look at Scamacca and it's just not cutting for him today at all. And it's because we're really not playing to his strengths at all. It's just not even coming close to playing to his strengths. We've not got the people in and around him. All nice 1-2 from Crystal Palace. Thankfully, Kurt Zouma gets it away. And it's one of those situations where you look at it and you think, well, if we are just going to punt it and sort of hope for the best, then Antonio is the better option out of the two of them, if we're being frank, in that specific scenario. Every other scenario, Scamacca. But in that specific scenario, Mikel Antonio is the better option. I don't think it's not a Souček thing today for me. It's not a Souček thing today for me. I think it's just it's the tactics. We play out wide because they force us down. They force us that way. They press us in the middle. We end up playing out wide. We end up looking to try and risky save from Fabianski. Well, I say save, he just collects it. I don't think it's a Souček thing. I mean, I'm going to look up the stats because I don't want to say anything and probably be wrong, which is, I'm usually wrong. But they push us. We end up getting forced out wide, and there's just no options. We end up going long constantly, and I don't think that's necessarily a Thomas Souček problem. I could be wrong about that, but Souček's pass percentage is 85, which isn't unreal, but Declan Rice is only 87. You're looking down that right-hand side. I mean, Dawson, 71%. Kehrer, 75%. You know, this is the bigger problems. We're getting forced into these scenarios and then we're just punting it. It's no surprise that Cresswell's on 81 compared to Kehrer's at 75 in that sense, but it's just not useful, is it? It's just not useful at all. It's not really much you can do about it in that sense. It's very frustrating. Now, that's not to say he might not improve the team. Halftime whistle goes as 1-1. That's not to say he might not improve the team if he was to come on and we could change it to blah 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 blah. But specifically, I don't think in this instance that's a him issue. I think the tactics are an issue, and I think the way Crystal Palace play is the issue. They push us, they press us, they make it happen, and then it goes from there. You know what I mean? Almiron scored again. Flipping heck. A beautiful splash. I'll give him that much. I haven't watched the full thing. I haven't watched the full match. I'll watch the full match at some point, probably later this evening. I haven't had time. I was out yesterday. It was on in the middle of the day, which is the one time in the year it's actually beneficial for us. It's a show I don't want to watch anyway, but I was out at a Korean barbecue yesterday, so I didn't actually see it. But I've seen the highlights, and the splash, beautiful. And he is very good, although he has only been in the ring with very, very good people, so put him in the ring against someone who's bad, and I don't know what you see. There you go, 1-1. I don't really know. I don't. Gio can talk about it. Gio, just. How do you feel?
Pissed off. Honestly, Charlie, we've been crap. That first 5 minutes is just. Bar Ben Rama's stunning goal, and it was a banger, right? But take that away. There's always a banger around Play Palace, but take that away.
There you go.
What have we done? Honestly, it's poor. It's so poor in the first half, that was. I've not enjoyed it at all. They've been by far the better team. Went ahead with a fantastic goal. They equalised because of stupid defending, but I haven't enjoyed that. I don't know. I've just been... I'm not... I think in recent weeks I've been given sort of Moyes benefit of the doubt and stuff like that, but today I just haven't enjoyed it at all. There's very few positives. Very few players are playing well.
I think I look at it, right, and I think when you saw our goal, I think is a really good example of how you... If you are more proactive in your stance, then you can force them into doing things that's not super useful for Crystal Palace. Because as much as I love their super direct, on the ball, counter-attacking, on the floor, they're not punting it long over the top, they're playing it on the floor. As much as I love all that stuff, if you are on top of them, they're going to play an out ball, which is relatively risky, especially when you have sort of defenders who are relatively good one-on-one. Zaha, it comes to him, and before he's even had the time to touch it, Dawson's on top of him, gets the touch, and then all of a sudden we have the ball again in a very attacking area. Bit of nice passing. Paqueta having the ability to just find Ben Rama, bang, it's a goal, right? That's a really good example of the way Crystal Palace play, what the weakness is of that style. The problem is we are not proactive enough. Now, when they are passing it around in their defensive area, as we do with every single team, sure, we might dare to get a couple of players in and around them, but it's very rare. It's not often, and we don't do it enough. And in the second, and this happens with every single team, but the second they get anywhere near the halfway line, we completely step off. And at that point, you're just laying into Crystal Palace's hands, and we don't do anything else. I said this before, like with the Moyes thing, I know like you look at it and you say, right, people are saying it's classic Moyes, and I think it is classic Moyes in a lot of ways. The one thing I will say is you can see the difference in that he's trying there. We are very clearly trying to play it out from the back. The problem is we're trying to play it out from a back of a team who are really good at pressing. Now, I'll be honest, their goal does not come from really good pressing. Their goal comes from bad defending, heavy touch, and then they nip in. It's not like the rest of the game where they were super on top of us and there was loads of players in and around making it difficult for us. No, it's just it's an awkward pass. He's in a bad position. It's a terrible touch, and then one pass in, bang, goal. It's not complicated stuff. It's as simple as you like, and it's stupid mistakes. It's just frustrating to watch. What's classic Moyes to me is that it's abundantly clear what the weaknesses in Crystal Palace's game. It's super obvious, and we're not only it's not even not seeing it, we are actively ignoring it to do something which plays into their strength. And that's because that's what we always do. And it's games like this where you just look at it and it's just frustrating because it's like, do the thing, bro. It's so obvious. Why are we not doing the thing? I don't know. It's just annoying to watch. But you are right. It's a banger in a game. To be fair, Ben Rama scored a banger. But outside of that, there's been nothing at all.
Yeah, it's just crap from us. It's just hoofball. We're passing it around at the back and then giving it to Fabianski, who just belts it down the pitch. Give it straight back to Palace. They come up, push us back to the 18-yarder. And at times when Palace get the ball, they're inside their own half. Rice and Souček are running right back to stand on Dawson Zuma's toes. We're just conceding so much territory immediately. There's not even an attempt to sort of press them from the front or anything like that. We're just scared of them. We're playing like we're hanging on to a 1-0 lead, and in this last game of the season, and if we win, we stay up. We're playing like that from the first minute. It's just, I don't know. Away to Old Trafford, fine. Well, this is the problem, Charlie. We're at home to Crystal Palace. We're playing the same tactics we applied away at Liverpool 2 weeks ago. How can you play both games the same? How can you possibly play both the same? There's only one obvious personnel change. That's Paqueta's come in for Flynn Downs. Now, I know there's other ones as well. Carers come in and stuff. But there's only one change. It hasn't changed anything. We're still playing the exact same tactics as we played at Anfield and Old Trafford as we are at home to Crystal Palace. And it's just crap. And I know Moyes likes to keep it tight, blah, blah, blah. But it's not working. The football's crap. The results aren't really doing that much either. He needs to get a win today. Now, the only good thing is usually we're 1-0 down at this point, and it's actually 1-1. So hopefully we can go on and win the game. But it needs to be better than this. We can't just turn up for half an hour every match and hope to win it in that half hour. It's not good enough. When Moyes first came in, it was fine because he took over a team that was facing relegation, and arguably our players weren't as good as the other team's players. We were often the second best team on paper heading into the games. These tactics were understandable. They were justifiable. But now, after £180 million of investment, and those players are all available today, I know Aguero's perhaps not quite ready for this to start, but he's on the bench. We've got Paqueta's there. Cornet's not there, but Emerson's on the bench. We've got Paqueta and Scamacca, Flynn Downs available for selection. I expected better than this, and he keeps giving it this about transition. There's no transition. This is the same football as we saw 2 years ago. It just worked back then because teams didn't really feed us, blah, blah, blah. It's changed now, and it's just not good enough. I'm not happy watching that half of football, Charlie. I'm really not happy. I get it. Away to Liverpool, I get it. At home to Palace, though, the same tactics. Come on.
I'll say this very quickly before I go, and this is just the chat. I know we're all angry. Try not to argue with each other. Because there's been some arguments, and I don't want to start banning people because it's just long. Voice your opinions. Say whatever you want. You could be Moyes in, you could be Moyes out. You can hate Souček, you can love Souček, you can think Scamacca's great. You can whatever it is, that's fine. But I keep seeing people coming close to having full-blown arguments with each other. And at that point, I'll just ban you both. I don't really care who's right. I don't really care who's wrong. If you're fighting with each other, then all of a sudden that's going to grow and spiral out of control. So I'll just say, try not to argue with each other. But feel free to voice your opinions. Just try not to start direct arguments. Anyway, G, I'll be back in a minute.
Right, let's see what you're all saying. Harry is kicking me off. He says, Paqueta isn't great today, but is it Moyes or him? I think it's a bit of both, really. I think Paqueta's got the ball a couple of times, Harry, and he's not really done enough. I know technically he's got the assist for the Benrahma goal, but I think we can agree that was a Benrahma banger rather than anything that Paqueta did per se. But at the same time, when he gets the ball, he's swarmed, isn't he? Often he gets it. There's one or two Palace players around him. It's very difficult for him, and he needs players closer to him. Like I said, the frustrating thing for me today is the gap between Paqueta and Rice and Souček is enormous, especially when Palace get the ball. They just retreat, and that's definitely tactical. It's definitely tactical, and I do not like it. Right. Luke would like more through balls in the midfield up to Scamacca instead of attempting the crosses. Our crosses below, they're not been great, have they? They've not been great. Gad said we are transitioning to an even more defensive side. Elbow says the reason West Ham get these players because everyone else thinks they're poor. I mean, PSG were going for Scamacca, so I can't subscribe to that idea per se. The Val says this is not enjoyable. Forget the results. This is not enjoyable to watch. This is kind of what I'm thinking as well. Stephen says to follow on for Kerr. Never thought I'd be suggesting that. Lee says the same old crap week in, week out. I don't know what else to say. Davis is already looking forward to next Sunday, as in he's predicting it rather than looking forward to it because he thinks James Maddison is going to rip us apart. Robert says Paqueta's world class. Moyes is the problem. Vinny says Pochettino or Tuchel is not the answer. There's someone else. He just doesn't know who. Will said too many players are underperforming and need to be accountable. I mean, that is applicable to the first 45 minutes. There have been some players today not playing well enough, and there's quite a lot of them as well. So there is a combination of tactics and poor performances. I think the frustration for me is, like I said, the tactics I feel are the same as what we've just deployed away to Liverpool and Man United. How can you treat Anfield, Old Trafford, and at home to Crystal Palace, the exact same. I feel like we're watching the same tactics in all 3 games. Jamie says it feels like Moyes is trying to survive while he's going all out for the Conference League. Paulo says to get downs on, you hold the ball a drive. They know when Souček gets the ball, get on your toes and prevent. That pass was poor, weren't it? That one was. Oh. Anyway, Brad says I've been Moyes out after the first few games and stand by it. People say he should keep his job because of Europe. Any Premier League team would win 6 out of 6 in that group. Depressing tactics. Mr. Pickles says Rice, Souček and Paqueta all come deep to receive the ball. No runners in midfield between the lines. Slow movement. Sit deep. Full backs are not given any width or depth. Matt says Scamacca's ball control has been woeful. Soham wanted Moyes out after 6-7 games ago because for our long-term benefit. Chris says it's not Paqueta, it's the players playing around him. Victor is questioning if Paqueta is really that good. Barry says negative football ain't great. Good players, but down to Moyes, we don't attack. Helen would like to see a word on ASAP. Paul says lack of pace. Got to get the big man on the ball and play off him. Just not getting him involved. There was slow build-up. Sharp said, I don't know what you're whinging about. We've only beaten Palace twice in 5 attempts. I don't care. We spent 180 million. I don't care what the historical stuff says. If that's the case, then let's not bother our arses going to Anfield. Let's not bother playing Brighton. Next time we're meant to play Brighton later on the season, let's just not bother because we've never beaten them in the Premier League. So what's the point of even making the game? Dave G says Kerr's made 5 mistakes now leading to goals. Spectrum says, while I think Kerr is a decent player, has 1 error in him every game and it's going to cost us at times. He's not having a good game, right? But while that goal that they scored, it's poor first touch. But my issue is actually with Dawson's paths. I blame Dawson more than Kerr, believe it or not. And I'm someone that I feel is quite critical of Thilo Kerr, perhaps, but I do think Moyes sold him out massively with that one. Derek says Moyes a one-trick pony. He focuses on so much on not losing, he doesn't know how to win. Funny enough, that's why I wanted him sacked the first time. That was when he was here his first tenure, say sacked, didn't want to sack. His contract was come to an end. That's why I wanted him to move on at the end of his first tenure, because that is the attitude I feel Moyes has always had. Dylan says clearly Souček is not good at passing at all, but what's really annoying is Souček, when defending the season, goes to ground. He did get skinned by Decore quite easy, didn't he? Matthew, I just genuinely don't understand how we're constantly so poor. I keep being optimistic. Then we've seen play worse and worse. Our football is utter garbage right now. Paul says we're not going to get anywhere with David Moyes. It's as simple as that. Slow Bro says we can't let another good European run paper over the cracks of constant poor Premier League performances. Luke says Souček off the ball movement is poor, or maybe it's just a bit too slow. I'm going to try and speed up a little bit. Andy says Moyes has the bench now. It's time to use it. Slow start again. Pathetic so far. Positive. We normally show up after 45 minutes. Dan says PSG were not after Scamacca. Please don't trot that stuff out. Well, I believe they were. It's up to you what you believe. Just because you don't believe it doesn't mean I can't believe it. I believe PSG were looking at Scamacca. That's all. You don't know 100% sure they were. And just like I don't 100% sure no they were. It's my opinion. You can't tell me what to think. You can disagree, but don't tell me what I can and can't think. Paul says, I've been watching old videos from 2 or 3 seasons ago. You were saying the exact same thing about Moyes that we're saying now. It's gone full circle back to Dyer. Moyes not having a clue. Yeah, I mean, this is why I've always been... I've never been and never will be David Moyes' biggest fan. And it's because of this mentality thing. And I think it's worked. Clearly, it's worked for quite a while. It's got us into European football. And I still think these tactics will work in European football. I still think what we're seeing today will work in the last 16. Regardless of who we get, it will work. At the minute, it is not in the Premier League. Lewis says, I think we have a right to be annoyed and frustrated by this because these issues have been around for a long time and Moyes isn't rectifying it. We start games so slow and can see most of it. Yeah, but we've only won 2 of the last 5 against Crystal Palace. So Paul says, when will I say Moyes out? we'll cover it during the World Cup. My sort of thinking at the minute is sort of give him to the season, give him this season. But if it's sort of a copy and paste job, i.e., we finish 13th and the football's like this, then say thank you very much, thank you for your service, and off you go, kind of thing. But I would give him the season. We do need a vast improvement when we come back from the World Cup. Am I confident? Not really. But do I think he deserves it? I do. I do think he deserves it. Mr. Ibas said that's 60 million for Bowen. Looks like daylight robbery. Right now, WHU 91 says 2.5 game. I mean, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. It is possible that we still go on to win this game. And part of me thinks we will still go on and win this game as well, despite of the first half and how grumpy I am right now. But Garth loves a fire. Yeah, I am fired up. I am pissed off today.
Any other fired up things you want to say as the teams come out, Gio?
What's that, sorry?
Is there any other fired up things you want to say as the teams walk out now?
I will say we need to see a massive improvement this second half. We need to win. First and foremost, we need to get the 3 points. I see Michael Antonio's coming on, which will be interesting. As to who he takes off.
Coming off for Scamacca.
Shit. Paul, I forgot, right? Wait, hang on, Charlie. I forgot, Paul. Do a double. Tila Keder and El Yunusi in the Southampton game. El Yunusi's racked up a couple of fouls in the first half. So that would be my double for this one. Is he actually coming on for Scamacca?
Yeah. Confirmed, yeah.
Right, I'm going.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Enjoy the second half.
Hopefully it works, but fucking hell. He does test you, doesn't he? Fucking hell. All right, Charlie.
Enjoy the second half, Gio. I'll let you go because it's just kicked off. Enjoy yourself. If you want more of that, which I suspect you may, full-time Gio will be back, of course, for the review live on this very channel. But until then, I will be live, so stick around because I need you. I'm only doing this by myself. And I do the watch-alongs every single week without fail. I've only missed 2 in the entire time we've been doing watch-alongs since the beginning of lockdown. Last season, we did a watch-along for every single game without fail. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification button so you don't miss out on future videos. And hey, like the video while you're down there. Get involved. But like I say, Gio will be back for a full-time live review straight after the match. Until then, though, we have 45 minutes of football to go, and I can't say I didn't call it in the first half. I did say this is exactly the sort of reason why Antonio would come on for Scamacca, and Antonio has come on for Scamacca. I called it 1000% down the line. For example, when the other day, when that's a nice ball over the top looking for Cresswell, doesn't quite work out. He's falling at the same time, but it was a nice idea. The other day, when Antonio came on with Scamacca and everyone was talking about the yellow card, and that's the reason why, it was tactics. It was tactical. And it's tactical again today. This is the reason. Moyes trusts Antonio. He knows what he gives him. And when we play the way we do, like this, he fits the system more than Scamacca does. I don't like it. You probably don't like it. I suspect 60,000 people in the stadium don't like it, or 58,000, however many Crystal Palace fans are. I don't know. I suspect they don't like it either, but it is the way it is, and he's back on again now. We've seen a lot of Pablo Fornals warming up as well, so he may be also coming on at some point as we go full David Moyes of last season. Still, we'll see. We'll see. Second half, we need a massive, massive improvement. And so far, it has been all us, to be fair. Nice idea to try and play it down the line. This is Tilo Kehrer, who was, again, unbelievably advanced. Unbelievably advanced. They're playing the ball forward now. Jordan Ayew weighs it out wide to Nathaniel Klein. He's got Elise just ahead of him. He decides to go inside to Jeffrey Schlupp instead. Again, we've concertinaed once again to a sort of position that gives Crystal Palace the benefit here. No, that's... I mean, I'll be real with you. Patrick Vieira is probably looking at a change, and he's probably not upset about it. I mean, the system suits him more than it suits Scamacca, but that's just an adherence to the system. That's doubling down on the system, as opposed to trying to change it up and do something different to try and change our fortunes. That's doubling down on this system. And so, I'm not going to lie, Patrick Vieira is probably pretty okay with that substitution. We've managed to force Crystal Palace all the way back to the goalkeeper now. This is when we press them. Push them. Come on, let's go, people. Antonio's in an okay position. We don't press. You know, we just cut passing lanes and then stand still, which is, I get it, but like, Crystal Palace aren't great at passing round at the back. They're not Ajax. Do you know what I mean? Just put them on it a bit. I don't get why we do it with teams like Tottenham and then Crystal Palace turn up. We don't, whatever. Zaha with the ball, can't quite find it. Hit again from Crystal Palace to flex up and off. Thomas Tuchel gets a head onto it from a little push from Zaha, and it's a good block from Craig Dawson, I'll tell you what. Very good block. Jared Bowen, though, went down from the reload there from Crystal Palace as they regained possession and started flying forward. Jared Bowen's been down the entire time. I mean, the first time the ref blows the whistle, he gets straight back up again. So maybe there is nothing to be too concerned about. Yeah, I don't even know what happened to him, to be honest. He just sort of crumbled. Thank you. It's Big Danny. It's Big Danny, isn't it? How dare you say cardboard cutout? He's real. He just stands really, really still. That's really hot to hold that way. I've got myself a hot chocolate because I'm sad, but it's really bloody hot. Didn't really think that one through. The main issue with Moyes is rather than building around players, he's just default to shut up shop tactics that we found out a long time ago. Yeah, it's as he reverts to type. He reverts back. He doesn't, again, like I was saying at half time, it's abundantly clear what their strength is and it's abundantly clear what their weakness is. And what we were doing in the first half was playing into both of those things. And it was because we weren't really stepping to them. We were doing the classic David Moyes thing of stepping back. I saw at half-time, what do you do? Well, it's not working. We need to bring on a different striker, which works with his tactic, which I get the mindset. However, what I would say is you're just doubling down on the thing that plays into their hands and plays out of our hands. And I don't understand quite why you would do that. I mean, it's the thing he trusts. He's an old man, isn't he? So I can't really say much. Time to change the game. We do have it. We do have... The camera won't focus on it, but we do have Babybel if necessary. If needed, if wanted, we do have Babybel. Passing it around at the back, and again, instantaneously under pressure. We thankfully managed to work it out, but then the ball long from Cresswell to Antonio is nowhere even remotely close, and it's just nowhere even remotely close. Bell. Okay. If we get one more call, then I'll put the poll to chat. Is it too early? I don't know. If we get one more call. Paqueta does really well to just get in, nip that one and control it. He's just so good, man. He's just so good. He deserves to be in just a better team. There is the third call. Okay, I'm going to put the poll in chat. I'll end the previous one. Who will win? West Ham, 64% say West Ham, 19% say draw, 17% say Crystal Palace from the original poll there. Mainly because I don't think you can do two at once. Which is interesting to me. Interesting. Obviously, it was done when we were 1-0 up, to be fair. So that changes the dynamics a little bit. But there is a poll in chat now for Bell. There's been enough calls for it. Get yes or no in chat. Let me know how you feel. Oh, nice ball from Bowen to Antonio, who the control against Anderson just doesn't really work. They'll give the poll until 54 to get your opinion in. Is it too early? Is it too early to do the poll? Who knows? I'll redo the poll. I'll redo the poll for the win after it. We'll see what happens. We'll see how the vibe is then. Kera into Bowen, but completely offside. Okay. David Moyes has doubled down, ladies and gentlemen, and so far it has not worked. I know. Shock. The thing that wasn't working continues to not work when none of the situation changes. I know. I wouldn't have expected it either. It's so warm. Why is this so molten hot? I'm just gonna blow on it. Just under a minute left for the poll. Just under a minute left for the poll. So time to still get your opinions in as Crystal Palace play the ball forward. Zaha lays it out short to Nathaniel Klein. Zaha again, very central. Eze and just Tarek Mitchell, just a bit of miscommunication there works out for us. Again, that is where that David Moyes tactic works. They're trying to play through the middle there with the likes of Eze and Zaha, nice little passing, Elise getting sort of in there, and they have the overlaps. You have Jordan Ayew, you have Mitchell, you have people who are up the Klein, you have people who can get up there and overlap, but they're not really utilising that. And we just sort of crowd out the middle. But it's everything else that doesn't work, and it's really annoying to watch because that one thing that kind of works isn't a good enough reason to do the everything else that doesn't. The poll is over, however, ladies and gentlemen, and it is 81% said yes, 19% said no. Bell being deployed, or Eze hits it from Rain. It's a nice hit from Eze. It's just wide of the post. It's going to be a goal kick. We'll be fine with that. But flipping heck, they come forward and it's just so much space. Declan Rice is nowhere even in the vicinity. I don't know what he's doing so far up the pitch. I mean, without him, I guess there's nothing else to do. But he's so far up the pitch, and they just wander into that central space that he's completely vacated, and they find Eze, who cuts inside and hits. That was going to be a corner. I thought it was a goal kick. To be fair, it deflected. All right, fair enough. They lay it short, as they're ones to do. Crystal Palace. Zaha takes it past Bowen, easily hits it with his weak foot straight into the 15 defenders that are there. And then the ball out from, I think it was Paqueta, and there's not even a player. I was going to say in the postcard, they're not even in the same city at this point. He plays it out, and there's no one there. One of my biggest problems with when we defend corners is Antonio getting back. Like, I get it. We're going for numbers, and he's decent in the air. I understand it. But realistically, bruv, when we get the chance to get the ball, who are you playing it to? There's no one there. No one there. So frustrating. Elise with another opportunity there. Just cuts on the inside and tries to hit it with his left foot. I'll say this. I don't know if this counts for anything. Quality-wise, that Baby Bell was very good. It was a very good quality Baby Bell. So I don't know if that counts for anything. We've seen results with the tougher, lower quality Bell. That was a very good Bell. I don't know if that will play out any further than that. Okay, I'm just letting you know. It was good. Zuma picks up the ball from Fabianski. There's no pressure from Crystal Palace this time, although instantaneously they pass the ball to Cresswell, and then the press starts, and we instantly pass it all the way back to Fabianski, who punts it long towards Jarrod Bowen. I don't care. He manages to get the control down, to be fair. He does well. That's a nice control. There's no passing options whatsoever for him. Jarrod Bowen was there on the overlap. He was covered. Antonio was running through the middle. Wasn't in any sort of line of sight. Just no. But we do get a corner for it. We'll take it. As per usual, no. The wax will never, ever be touched. Not happening. I'm impossible to peer pressure on this. No. It's a bad sign? Okay. Well, we'll see. Corner incoming. Whipped in. Ooh, it was almost a flipping goal straight from the corner. Dawson was attacking the back post, and Gaeta does well to stop it, to be fair. Crystal Palace are some Crystal Palace players are sort of shouting at Craig Dawson, who, if we're being honest, had 1000% right to do it. Jordan Ayew, who I like, is squaring up to Declan Rice now about it. They're having a big old argument, and he needs to chill out, because let's be real, Craig Dawson had 1000% right to go for that. It's unlucky that they clatter. It's definitely unlucky that they clatter. It's not something you like to see. Dawson's going to pick up a yellow card. It's a bit of that's ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is a bit insane. I thought I was totally okay, but right, whatever. We'll have a look at the replay, I guess, in a second. Oh, Natello with the £2.50. Thank you very much. Pork pies, anyone? I love a pork pie. I'd have a pork pie if there was one there. Gator is down and getting a treatment, by the way. Thank you very much for the $2.50 into the full-time fund. We massively appreciate it, especially on months when we don't have sponsorships. It helps us hugely, so thank you very much. That's very kind. And I do love a pork pie. I should also say while we're there, thank you to Matt, Dave, Dylan, Matt, the other Matt, Pocky, Glenn, Johnny, GP, Andrew, and Callum, who have all lobbed in super chats today and super stickers and everything else. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Seeing the replay there. Yeah, I have no idea why that's a yellow card. I can't lie to you. He 1000% has right to go for that ball, as Gaeta has right to try and stop it, and they just clatter in the play in the essence of play. That just is what it is. I don't really get how that's a yellow card. He's got one anyway. Craig Dawson, Gaeta, thankfully for them, seems to be up and fine. You never like a player to see injured. That's my opinion. I know it's not useful that their good goalkeeper is still fit, but you don't want to see someone get injured, and thankfully he's back up. There you go. Thank you very much, Natello. Your name is now in the bars. Again, another day when we've had so many super chats that it's gone to 2 bars. Paqueta's down and he looks in significant amounts of pain. I don't know what was happening. I was doing the bar. I missed it. He was down on the floor. We're going to see a replay in a second. He's gone down in a lot of pain, and the fans are reacting negatively. We've passed it out. We're going to get a drop ball situation or just throw it back to us and we carry on. But he's holding his leg sort of higher up than you'd suspect. Elise was on the ball. Back heel to Jordan Ayew. Jordan Ayew just treads on him. Again, I said it a second ago. I like Jordan Ayew, but I think that's quite dirty if I'm being honest. That's a yellow card. If Craig Dawson is a yellow card, I'm not sure how that isn't. Craig Dawson has 1000% right to go for the header. He does. Jordan Ayew has 1000% right to go for the ball. But the problem is he completely misses the ball. Instead, literally just trods on Paqueta's leg and ankle. Flynn Downs is getting warmed up to come on, by the way. How much do you want to bet he comes on for Paqueta as opposed to... Paqueta? It'll be for Paqueta. Oh, Lanzini's also coming on. All right, here's what's going to happen. Paqueta's coming off and Ben Rama's coming off. And it's going to be Lanzini and Downs. But he completely misses it. If that's not a yellow card, I'm not entirely certain how it isn't. If we're being honest. I was trying to pick up. There was a close-up on David Moyes and Lanzini talking before he comes on. He was doing this. And I was trying to figure out exactly what it is. My gut says it's going to be a 4-4-1-1. That's what I think it will be. I think it will be a 4-4-1-1. My gut says Paqueta will come off. My gut says that Ben Rama will come off, and you'll see Flynn Downs play as a sort of wide player, and you'll see Lanzini in behind Antonio. I think we're just going full 2019 West Ham, but we'll see. Mikel Antonio battling for the ball from the long ball doesn't quite work out. Palace come away with it comfortably. Paqueta is back up and running, thankfully. He's charging after that ball. If we take off Paqueta, we might as well give up on any chances at this point. He's been the one player who's looked like he's able to really just open up defences. Like, really open up defences. And my fear is that he is going to come off. Whether it's for Downs or Lanzini, I don't know. He's pushing again here. He's also good at pressing. He's good at everything. If we take him off, then it's a bad choice. We're just doubling down on the tactic as hard as possible if we do that. Like I said, I think that's what's going to happen. My gut is we'll change to a 4-4-1-1. I think it will be Ben Rama coming off. I think it will be Paqueta coming off. I think we'll see Downs and Lanzini. Downs playing out wide. Lanzini playing in just behind Antonio. Maybe even being the one just behind Paqueta. It was a nice idea to try and find Rice on the overlap. Doesn't quite work. Declan Rice sort of waves back to him to say thank you, but it doesn't work. It was a nice idea. Again, it's just something no one else on the pitch does. Nice link up between the two of them, but it just doesn't quite work out. Ben Rama, nice 1-2 with Declan Rice. It's very good defending by Anderson there, to be fair. And huge diving challenge there from Thomas Souček does well just to get that one. But I'll tell you what, Anderson does very well there. Anderson does very well there. First sub. Saeed Benrahma. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm shocked. Souček is coming off for downs. I'm genuinely shocked. Souček is coming off for downs and Paqueta is staying on. Saeed Benrahma comes off after scoring an absolute banger and being one of the few players that's actually going to do anything in this game. He's annoyed. You can literally... They just cut to him there as he was walking off the pitch and you see him mouth the word "why" to himself. He's come off, but... Thomas Souček's come off for downs. So, I mean, a little from column A, a little from column B. David Moyes is never going to give you entirely what you want. He will occasionally just do something that you don't want. But I don't really see what Lanzini's giving you that Benrahma isn't, for example. But we'll see. Souček and Flynn Downs, it's something that almost every West Ham fan has screamed for weeks at this point. I've notably been like the one guy who hasn't. So... So we'll see. I mean, is that a Saeed Benrahma chant coming from the crowd? I don't know. They're very unhappy about this. And that's nipped in. Flynn Downs instantaneously loses the ball to Zaha. Flipping heck. Flynn Downs, the first thing he does is get dispossessed quite easily. And they just wander straight through the middle. And Zaha... Nice step over, takes it past Zuma, and Craig Dawson does well to come back and just stop that. Should have hit that one earlier, Zaha. 65 minutes on. Can these subs change anything? I mean, so far, we've just gone straight for a big boot again. Mikel Antonio chasing it down. That was a better opportunity than usual. Schlupp and Paqueta battling for it. Rice then loses out by coming involved and it vacates a massive amount of space. Thankfully, good luck, Flynn Downs. Thankfully, their ball forward was pretty poor, Crystal Palace. Did I just hear that stat right, that we haven't had a single shot this half and we only had 3 in the first half? That's fun, isn't it? Might be wrong, but I think that's what he said. Also, just to be clear, yes, Thomas Souček did come off and Flynn Downs has come on for him. Lanzini picks up the ball in a very central position. He's sort of standing in the centre circle there. I'm not really sure what the formation is. I'm sort of trying to figure it out. Antonio wins a free kick. I mean, yeah, sure, why not? You know? At that point, what's the point in even thinking about it? We're at home to Crystal Palace. You get a solid 0.1 XG. You love to see it, lads. You love to see it. That was beautiful. On a winter eve. Well, Sunday afternoon. Big ball forward looking for Paqueta. I'm still trying to figure out the formation. Because Lanzini... Is it a 4-1-3-1-1? I don't really know. Is it a 4-1-3-2? Maybe? I don't know. I can't really figure it out. But it's a big ball from Anderson looking for Jordan Ayew, who somehow just keeps that one in. He's battling with Kurt Zuma. So I think it's notable that Dawson is the one who's man-marking Zaha. Whipped in from Crystal Palace way over the top and beyond everyone. Mitchell picks it up on the other side, though. As opposed to Zuma, I mean. Like, I just find it interesting that Dawson's the one who's been trusted with that role. Maybe you give Zuma the sort of freer role because he's a bit more mobile than Dawson is. It's just interesting to me. I hope you're right, Stuart, man. I hope you're right. I'm firmly of the belief someone is getting the 3 points in this game. Unfortunately, at this point, it feels like Crystal Palace. Big ball from Anderson, looking forward for Eze, who does well. It's a really nice control, and then takes on Kera, who just muscles him to the ground. And Eze, annoyed that there was no foul in there. I tell you what, it was a very physical battle between the two of them. Kera just... And now Eze, ultimate crap housery movements there. So the ball comes across to Eze. It's a really nice initial control. Kera tracks him, and just a physical battle. They're just battling each other, just pushing each other. Eze's leaning into him, begging to be pulled down to the floor. I mean, Eze, don't get me wrong. Like, Kera is all over him. He's pulling him. But Eze's leaning into him, begging for him to be pulled down onto the floor for a penalty. And then ultimate crap housery movements from Eze, who was down on the floor off the pitch going, wow, this is annoying. It's not a free kick. Penalty. And then gets onto the pitch and then goes down again. You got to respect it. You don't at all. It's bullshit. But you got to respect it. Yeah, it's a good, you know, Alex. The dichotomy of the English life in the year 2022. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Technically, right now, I'm doing neither. Still. I mean, we're paying energy bills. We just not got heat on. Good control from Lanzini from an awkward clearance. Declan Rice in an unbelievably advanced position. Links up with Aaron Cresswell. He's slowly getting back Declan Rice as we regress further and further backwards under mild pressure. Downs lays it short to Kera. From Jarrod Bowen. Out for a throw into Crystal Palace. He is stunning. Sometimes. Good looking guy in general. But, you know, he is stunning. Sometimes. Every 10 games he plays, unbelievable. The other 9, you know, he can pass, I guess. But in that game, he does love a goal against Crystal Palace. Oh, Eze flops over, falls to the floor. Kera, who's been man marking him. Elise does really well, just taking the ball forward, lays off Zaha, who lays it into Eze, who just goes down. I mean, he doesn't go down looking for a penalty or anything. He just goes down, slips over and misses and gets very angry about it. We've had 40% possession at home, by the way, just in case you were interested. 3 shots compared to Crystal Palace's 13. All 3 in the first half. We've had 1 shot on goal on target. That was the one that actually went in. Just in case you're wondering, 40% possession. 3 shots, 1 on target at home to Crystal Palace, if you're wondering. I tell you what, Jarrod Bowen does really well there. Keeps going and going and going. He's gone down somewhat theatrically, which is a bit ridiculous, but he did so well to get into that position. And he has stayed down to the point where we've gone forward and had another opportunity, and he's been completely not there because he decided to stay down. One of my biggest pet peeves. Once it's clear you've not got a foul, just get up, bruv. I'm not going to say anything. Right, so Mitchell comes in. Jarrod Bowen does incredibly well to get ahead of him. Cuts inside. Legs get tangled. I mean, it's a foul. I'm 100% sure it's a foul. I agree with Jarrod that it is a foul. I will agree with him there. My bigger problem is we had an opportunity come straight up again, down the exact side where Jarrod Bowen is, and there's a huge gap because he's still on the floor, being like, meh. And it's like, you're not injured, bruv. Just get up and get on with it. If it hasn't happened for you, it hasn't happened for you. It sucks, but just get up. And now he's taking the corner. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. There was definitely a foul in there, by the way. Whipped in. Kera gets his head onto it, and it's straight into the hands of Gator. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. It is definitely a free kick. It was definitely a foul. Whether it's a free kick or a penalty, it was on the edge of the area. There was a couple of different connections. I don't know which one would be which. It's at least a free kick. I don't know. But just get up. It's so annoying. My G, how are you, sir? Hope you're well. It's been god awful. It's been god awful, Woody. If anyone has a more in-depth way to describe the game to Woody, I would say this very quickly, Woody, in 30 seconds. It's been god awful. Crystal Palace have been so much better than us. We've had 40% of possession so far in the game. They've had 13 shots. We've had 3. We haven't had a single shot in the second half yet. Bowen getting into the area, though. Here it goes to Antonio. All shot from Rice from range, well over. First shot of the half, though. Exciting times. Ben Rama scored. It was a beautiful, beautiful goal. Like, the play to get the ball to him, it was nice pressure. We press, get the ball, nip it off it, play it into the path of Ben Rama, who hits an absolute thunderbolt into the top corner. But outside of that one specific moment, we have been god-awful. Again, I don't know if anyone else has a better description than that. But that's sort of where we're at. There's a very... I don't know who he is. But no, I'm not going to say that. That's harsh. Mark Noble's in the crowd, though. Shout out Mark Noble. Shout out. There you go. There you go. There's that 0.1 stat again. Antonio into the box, tries to put it in towards Bowen. Do you know what sucks? It just sucks when you're like watching this. Full stop. It just sucks when you're watching this. No, it sucks when you're watching this because we're doing the exact same stuff that we were doing 2 years ago with the exact same players we were 2 years ago. I mean, right now Paqueta's on the pitch. He's looked lively, but it's just long, innit? It's just long. It's to get to 8-minute AdSense, innit? That's the problem. You know, like, I get it. I like, if it works, it works, but it's not really working. And it's just sad that we're looking at it and it's like, oh, here comes Lanzini, Bowen's trying to find the ball as Antonio's out wide, crossing it into him. And it's just like, oh, okay. Okay. It's just not really anything, is it? If we're being honest about it. It's just not really anything. Phone went off. Louis, if you're here, thank you for following me. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Don't know if you're watching, but if you are, cheers. Someone just followed me on Twitter. I was like, my phone's vibrating. Where's my phone vibrating? Oh, that was the poll I was going to run. Not Moyes out, Nigel, but there was a poll I was going to run, which I'll do that now. Who will win? They're making a sub now. Decore coming off and Milivojevic. Ignore that poll. That's wrong. We just need to end that. You'll see a poll briefly shout out. I forgot to put Crystal Palace in as an option. Milivojevic coming on. Milivojevic, by the way, just in case you were wondering, on a poll of who will win in between draw or West Ham with no other options, one person voted West Ham, 2 people voted draw. So there you go. West Ham. I quite like Milivojevic. He's one of those players a bit like, oh, Rice finds Paqueta. Paqueta, he was looking for Antonio, couldn't quite find him at the back post. Nice idea. Good pass by Rice. There we go. We got a proper draw on it. I like Milivojevic. He's one of those players a bit like Mark Noble. Maybe not as good as Mark Noble, but he's one of those players like Mark Noble who, despite changing managers all the time at Crystal Palace, Paqueta was offside to be fair. He keeps getting game time, and there's a reason why, because he's very good. Rice finds Antonio. Paqueta is playing very high up. It's almost a front two with Paqueta and Antonio. Almost a front two with the two of them. It does feel kind of like a 4-1-3-2, right? With Rice sort of being the deeper of the 3, at least of the 4 in midfield in defence. In attack, he just comes flying forward. Whenever there's an opportunity, he comes flying forward. And it's a bit annoying to watch, but he also has that ability to be able to sort of do something with it. So you sort of have to let it happen. I don't really know who sits in that role. I guess it is Flynn Downs who would take that up. But it is kind of a 4-4-2, 4-1-3-2. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's kind of 4-4-2. It's interesting. Because Paqueta's very high up the pitch. Like I said I expected a 4-4-1-1. And I guess you could make the argument it's a 4-4-1-1. But Paqueta's basically so far forward. He's in a 2 up front with Antonio. And Declan Rice can be so far back in defence that he's in hold. I don't know. It's what it is what it is. It got thrown out with the something. There was a joke there, but I couldn't find it, Connor. I'm sorry. Listen, the poll is how people feel, you know? And so if you can't bring yourself, then that's fine. That's how you feel. Lob it in there. You know? I'll tell you right now, the poll is unbelievably close. I'll tell you right now, the poll is incredibly close. It's currently 31%, 33%, 36%. That's how close the poll is right now. You know? For people saying Bell, I've had one already, but we could go for a second Bell if we really want it. If you really want it, we could go for a second Bell. Referee forcing Kera back to take the throw. You love to see it. And we throw it backwards, which is maybe the most West Ham thing to do. But we keep possession of the ball, so I can't complain massively. Lanzini, that finds Antonio, who turns it well. That's the sort of thing Scamacca can't do. He's charging through. Paqueta was there. He doesn't find it. Antonio goes down in the area. Oh, he's called a penalty. He's actually claimed a penalty. The penalty spot is being pointed to. I mean, I guess it will go to VAR. I will look at the chat in a second because I realise you're probably ahead of me, so you're talking about what's going on, and I don't want to have it spoiled for me. But Lanzini picks up the ball from Cresswell, runs a little bit central, and then finds a nice ball out to Antonio, who just turns Anderson well. Again, that's the sort of thing Scamacca can't do. Not his own fault, it's just he can't do. And he takes the ball past Gay really well, Antonio. He was 1v1. His arm comes out. The argument, I guess, is that Antonio gets pulled back by Gay. I'm going to be honest. Mikel Antonio has 1000% bought that. Like, does he give him a little pull? Sure, maybe, but that's not a penalty. Surely that isn't a penalty. We're getting VAR. They are checking it endlessly. We'll get a result soon, but I'll be honest with you. That's not a pen. Antonio goes past him, and it looks like it goes beyond into the hands of Gaeta, and he just goes down. Now, there is a touch. He feels the pull, and there is a little bit of a pull from Gaeta. Yeah, a little tiny bit of a pull. Like a tiny little bit of a pull, right? But it's barely anything. And the way Antonio goes down, right? So the pull... I can't show you on Danny because he's hooked up to electronics, and that would be a bad idea. It's not like when you're running and you get pulled here and so you fall backwards like that, because that's the way he falls down. We're seeing something else happen now. We're seeing another replay from a different angle now, which is further back. We're seeing it in full motion. And if for some reason they slow down when it gets there, I don't know why. It's not here. It's, you know, when someone gets pulled pair down here and they go down like that, right? That's what Antonio did. But the pull, I'm not going to lie, it was like, it's on his, like, thick. I am wearing pajama bottoms, by the way. There's a hole in them. The pull was like here, right, on his hip, but he still goes down like this. That's what gives it away. It's abundantly clear that he pulls it. That it's abundantly clear that he goes down too easy. That is not a penalty. That it just isn't. It isn't. Like, I hope it is for our sake, because it's the only way we're going to score in this game. But that's not a penalty. The referee's looking at the screen currently. He's gone over to the screen. He's watching it over and over again. I think he'll overturn this, because I just don't think it's a pen. No pen. Right decision. Like, it's annoying. It's incredibly annoying. I can't act like it isn't. From a West Ham perspective, obviously, I want the penalty. From a West Ham perspective, I am just fiddling with a Kinder Egg thing, by the way. From a West Ham perspective, I would love the penalty. I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't want to see, Well, I guess Lanzini, because flipping Benrahma's gone off. But take it, smash it in, 2-1, smash and grab. We take the 3 points, we go, right? Obviously. But I'll be real with you. It's ridiculous from Mikel Antonio. Going down like that, it's mad. It just isn't a pen. It just is not a penalty. I can look at chat now. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, if it was against us and it was given, we would have lost it. Because it just isn't. He goes down way too easy. It's a dead giveaway. He's pulled at the hip and he goes down as if he's been flipping shot in the shoulder. It's just not happening. In a game in which Wilfried Zaha is on the pitch, to be like, to see a worse dive is ridiculous. And it wasn't a dive. Like I said, there was definitely a touch there, but nowhere near enough a touch to go down like that. That is ridiculous. But thankfully, it wasn't. Well, I say thankfully. Obviously, I would have liked it to have been a pen and we score, but you know, it's the right decision. We're getting mostly that wasn't a penalty. I can see Ashley thinks it was. Never a pen. Poor from Antonio. No pen. That's fair. Right decision. Yeah, okay. If it had been given and we'd won this, to be fair, Woody. Honestly, a draw is papering over the cracks, if we're being honest about it. Crystal Palace have been so significantly better than us that a draw is papering over the cracks, if we're being honest about it. We'll see whether it ends up being a draw or not. We've got 5 minutes plus stoppage time left to go, but a draw is kind of papering over the cracks, if we're being honest about it. As Luke says, I think that's a good point. I don't know what's worse, our rather poor performance or Crystal Palace not taking advantage of it. If you're a Crystal Palace fan, you're probably going to be a bit pissed off that you haven't won this game because they have been so significantly better than us, and we have been so poor. It's not even one of those ones where they've been brilliant and we've been fine. They've been great and we've been so poor that if they don't win this game, it's a bit of a ridiculousness for them as well. Anyway, right, 5 minutes plus time to go. Oh, that's a nice ball from Elise, looking for Zaha. He's forced very wide, but he's got IU on the underlap. He decides to just sort of loft it toward there. There's nothing even close to that. I don't know why he did that. There's over 763 of you in here right now, so thank you very much for watching. We appreciate it. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe because we do watch-alongs every single match day on this channel. We have only missed 2 since we started doing it at the beginning of the first lockdown, at the beginning of the pandemic. We've only missed 2 games. Every competitive game we have done a watch-along for, and the vast majority of friendlies as well. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss out on future videos, because we also do stuff all throughout the week covering West Ham. So if you haven't already, make sure to do that. And like the video while you're there. Massively appreciated. Massively helps us push the stream. We've hit the 300 all crossed in. Jesus Christ, that almost was an own goal from Dawson. We've hit over the 300 mark. It's at 333 likes, so thank you very much. We've hit the goal, but that was bloody close. Jesus Christ, what was that? The ball comes across and Dawson tangles himself up somehow. Ayu's charging down the right hand side in behind Aaron Cresswell. Zuma can't get across to him. He pulls it back. And Eze, who was arriving late, is nowhere near, and Dawson just sort of hits off to him, and it's bundled over the line. Oh, Jesus Christ, that was bloody close. Whipped in from the corner, punched away from Fabianski. That was a terrifying, terrifying moment. Woody, that's actually a pretty good point. We've played pretty much I haven't even thought about it like that, but that's actually a good point. We've played pretty much every team at the perfect time this season, but failed to capitalise enough. Liverpool, United, Palace, Southampton, Bournemouth, and arguably even City. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. We've faced a lot of teams at the right time and completely come up short. Bowen and Antonio getting confused between each other. Bowen failing, and now Crystal Palace can attack forward again. Elise, it looks like it went out from David Moyes' reaction, but play carries on. They then begin the horseshoe. Schlupp out to Mitchell. They've gone all the way over to the left-hand side now from the right. 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Ayew picks up the ball wide right-hand side. Takes it inside on Cresswell. Looking for Wilfried Zaha, who goes down spectacularly in a second one, and it's going to be a free kick, and a free kick against Crystal Palace for a dive from Jordan Ayew and a yellow card. I'll be fair, Jordan Ayew deserved the yellow card earlier as well, so what goes around comes around. Just in case you're interested about how teams play play at home, by the way, Aston Villa are still 3-1 up against Manchester United at home. You know, doing stuff at home, nah, never heard of it. There was a VAR check, but no penalties for either of the incidents. Rice collects the ball. This is a good position now. We've got players forward. Just find that little bit of passing. Stop going backwards, West Ham. You're moving slowly backwards. Stop it. Zuma out to Cresswell. Good. Nice. This is where we go now. Cresswell moving forward down this left-hand side. Stops and goes inwards. He's been given an option by Lanzini. Zuma. Come on. This is such a good opportunity. All you need to do is push it. Rice out wide to Kara, who's on the touchline. He has Bowen ahead of him. He has Downs just behind him. He goes backwards again. Oh, bro, just go forward. It's not complex. And then we play a pointless long ball forward. Why are we doing this? Out wide to Declan Rice. That guy known for his crossing ability. Just so dumb. Why are we so dumb? You know what I mean? Just so unbelievably stupid. Val with the $20. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Hate to buy it, but Charlie, please say Moyes out. This is unwatchable, inexcusable, the investment. I'll say Moyes out for you, Val. Moyes out, but I'm also not Moyes out yet. But this is just a joke of a performance, man. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Thank you very much for the $20. That's very, very kind of you. I give up. This game's over. I don't care anymore. We had the opportunity to go forward and we decided not to. I just, whatever at this point. I just don't care. David Moyes is complaining about something. Bruv, look at yourself before you look at anything else. Oh, the referee didn't give me something. Shut up, bruv. Just sort it out. You have opportunities to sort stuff out. You're not sorting it out. I don't know what to say. You know? Because I'm not particularly Moyes in. This is the thing, right? I'm just not Moyes out. I've never liked Moyes. I've never ever liked Moyes. It's just not something that, from the moment he got here to the moment he left the first time to the moment he got here again to now, I've never really liked him. I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he's done over the past couple of years, and that's why I'm not Moyes out yet, because he proved me wrong, essentially. Now, he's proved me right in a hell of a lot of instances as well, but realistically, he's shown that he can do stuff, right? And I think he deserves the opportunity, given how good we have been. I see that, Woody, and I refuse to do it. How good he has been to try and turn it around. But today, you look at days like today, and I'm just like, bruv, what? You can't blame anyone for saying it. This is such a stupid performance. The fact it looks like we're gonna get a point. The fact it looks like we're gonna get a point out of this, by the way, is kind of disgraceful. Like, we might not still, but it's kind of disgraceful. Like, Crystal Palace should have had all three sewn up a long time ago in the first half. The fact it looks like we're gonna get a point is ridiculous. Yeah. Bruv, you ain't the only one. I'm having a mare right now. If you're asking, by the way, I did see someone ask, I can't see the comment now, I was trying to find it. If you are asking where we watched the game, you can, in the Discord link below, there's a bit called Stream Links. If you click on that, you should find what you're looking for. Also, places like Footy Pass and stuff like that you can look at. But what I will say is that I am definitely in America watching it legally, 1000% in North Idaho. You can't question it. 2 minutes to go. I'm going to be honest, we're not going to score. How red my face is. What a terrible time to be alive. On comes Pablo Fornals. God forbid we make more subs when it's not working, but still. On comes Pablo Fornals for Lucas Paqueta, who's gone off. He said he messaged to David Moyes that he was struggling. I don't know if he's injured or what, but what a shock, Dean. I'm also watching it on Live USA. You know, shout out to the USA Network. Shout out to Peacock. When I'm over in America, I can watch the wrestling and the football on it. It's very useful. Antonio going forward. This is a good opportunity. There's people sort of backing him up. Just a cross would be nice. He decides to stop and the ball in. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to stop watching the stream. It's a minute left, and that was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life from Mikel Antonio. That was such an unbelievable waste. Elise's on the ball, into the area, hits it. Oh, and they've scored. The commentator did not just say this is Crystal Palace's first away win of the season. I did not just hear that. Mikel Antonio, you waste of space. You shit footballer, man. What the fuck was that? Please someone explain to me. Oh, he wastes such a good opportunity with a fucking shit cross, and then they counter-attack up the other end of the pitch. Zaha picks up the ball. He lays it out wide to Elise, who's one-on-one with Aaron Cresswell, who has to back off. And Elise hits a fucking beautiful shot. I don't know if it takes a deflection or not. I assume it does. And it's in top corner. Oh, God. How are you this useless, man? How are you this useless? I don't understand. It's not complex, bruv. It's so stupid. I'm such a calm human being usually, and I'm just watching fucking stupidity. It's like, it's not difficult. It's so simple. I don't know how you can do such simple things so badly. It's over. It's 3-2. Crystal Palace have won. I've shut the stream down. I don't need that in my life. I don't understand. Oh my God. It's like watching a bunch of idiots just... Oh my God. Fuck's sake, man. Anyway, there we go. The poll ended. We had some faith at least. Jesus Christ. At home! We had less possession in Crystal Palace, who haven't won away all season. At home! And then we get a chance in the dead of the end, and then... Oh, my Lord. It's so unbelievably stupid. I just can't fathom the incompetence. I can't understand it. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you want more anger, I would suspect Geomaki's not going to be super happy on the review, which is going to go live in just a moment. We, of course, will be back live once again on Wednesday. It'll be the Blackburn Cup match. That will be fun. I'm sure we'll actually turn up in that. If you want more, Mary Geo will be live in just a second with the review. I would ask you to like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe, hit that bell notification button so you don't miss out on future videos, because you're the only West Ham channel last year who did a watch along for every single show, every single match last year. We were the only person. We were the only one who did it, and we've only missed 2 since we started doing it at the beginning of lockdown. I'm going to go and explain to my girlfriend now why I'm screaming at the top of my voice. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, but first make sure to check out Gio's match review, which will be live in just a moment. Before I do that, I will say once more thank you very much to all the people in the top corner who donated with super chats and super stickers today, them being Callum, Andrew, GP, Johnny, Glenn, Matt, Pocky. There's Glenn, Pocky, Matt, Dylan, Dave, different Matt, Natello, and Val. It's massively appreciated, especially when we don't once we've done sponsors. It helps us out massively. But until then, I will see you on Wednesday. Enjoy the review and enjoy the conversations that will help, because I can't be asked anymore. All right, see you later, everyone. Come your hands. See you later. Bye.